Alrighty then. Testing 1, 2. Make sure we're working here. Oh, let's see. Okay, we're good there. What's happening, guys? Alrighty then. Testing 1, 2. We are live. What's going on, everyone? Everybody jumped up in there and rocking and rolling. Renee's first one jumped right in there. Photography Light and Magic, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. Joss D, what's happening? Dave Jones is in there. Renee Von Oosterhort's in there. Mort Piat, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there. What's going on there, Johnny Prod? Oops, move the screen back up where it was. Mimi Reacts. Hello, guys. Greetings from Germany. What's happening, Mimi? Alexander Irvin, or Irvine. Aloha from Hawaii. I hope it's a lot nicer in Hawaii than it is in my state, because I'll tell you what, it's about 47 degrees Fahrenheit and rainy and extra sucky. I hope yours is better, which I would imagine it is. Let's see. Dave Jones, what's happening? Go down here. Ken Wells. Ken from New Hampshire. What's happening? 420 Alien. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Arts and Crafts is in the house. Said, hey, everyone, I'm home. Mr. Scrafani. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but awesome. Good to see you there. Oops. Oh. What's going on there, Pete? Good to see you there. Said, hey, Chris, what's up? Not much, man. Hope you're doing good. Cores, what's happening? Crazy full moon yesterday. It's what I heard. I didn't have a look at it myself, to be truthful. And besides, I think it was evening time here was getting cloudy for us. So it wouldn't have done any good, right? Robin Morgan, what's happening? It's over there in the state of Virginia, right next door neighbor here. Marche de Vev. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. My apologies if I am not. Love your explanations from Israel. Well, I'm going to wave my hand over to everybody over there in Israel. Hope you're doing well. Les Sweet, what's happening? What's happening, Noodles? Good to see you there. No, I didn't see that. You said, hi, Chris. Did you see Angry Astronaut's video on 16 Psyche? No, I haven't seen that. What's that supposed to be about? Yeah, Alexander, I should say. 87 to 90 degrees, man. I envy you. It's like, it is pretty much El Succo here, so enjoy it while you can. It'll get back up there at some point. We're not worried about it too much. Somebody said, what is it, New Chaotic Order said audio? I believe it's okay. I believe we're working here. Yeah, Frank. Miklos. Extra sucky here in West Pennsylvania, too. Yeah, you guys get everything pretty much after we get it, so I hope you're not going to be part of that big storm that's we'll be getting. They're going to get several inches up in the northeast corner. Easy for me to say, right? In fact, one of my friends there from my home state said they were supposed to get almost 6 inches to a foot. I'm like, what? This is May, right? We all right here? Mother Nature going completely retarded on us. The Quantum Leap, what's going on? You say, hey, Chris, thank God it's Friday. LS6SS, Super Sport, as, you know, Super Sport. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Alien Tenno's in the house. New chaotic order. 79 in Southern Cal. Man. Perfect weather. See, we were having that in the very beginning. I think it was like in before April even. And we had like 88, 90 degrees. And all of a sudden, Mother Nature was like, oh, just kidding. You know? And for the past, I don't know about anybody else's state, it's been like, I don't know, last 3 or 4 years, it's been like, it's like you'd have spring for a week, for like 1 week. If you went to spring for a week and then all of a sudden jump right into summertime. Now, Mother Nature's going, not this time. Which in some aspects is not bad, right? Kind of keeps, you know, the air conditioning bill down, but then the heat kind of goes up. So if you can get kind of a steady one, you're not too bad, you know what I mean? Not too hot, not too cold, right? Andrew Mills, what's happening? You said, hi, Chris, from Gornal, England. Well, good to see you there, man. Man, really? Pete, you know, he said it's snowing in Buffalo, New York. Oof. My dad lives up over there, and I'll tell you what, they get hammered up there at times. That's a great question. I think we all have an idea. You said, I believe it was New Chaotic Order, so what is the Space Force really for? That's a great question. Mimi, you said the frost saints are upon us, at least in Germany. I can only imagine. Noodles, you said 1,000 starships worth of metal, 1 asteroid, and SpaceX is going there in 2020. Imagine that, huh? Yeah, I hope so too. You said, I hope when Trump says mine the moon, he means helium-3. I have a feeling this has been going on long before he's even mentioned it. I think we all can agree on that. What's going on in Mags K? You say, hi, Chris. How's the sky where you are? We are. Never seen so many clear skies. Must be no traffic making a difference. Well, it is. And like I said, even they said the ozone, last time we had this hangout, I said the ozone was pretty much corrected itself at this point, which is just really wild, right? It hasn't been really clear here the last couple of days. It's been not too bad yesterday. Today, not so much. Started raining somewhere around mid-morning here. And a bit heavy rain on and off, and it is what it is, right? But by the end of this week coming up, I think it's supposed to be like 66 to 71. So it's going to start on the incline. We usually get sometimes we get the first two weeks of, you know, May as trash, but it'll get better, right? That's all you can hope for. Definitely made a world of difference on the world itself and the atmosphere and all the skies, right? Because when it is clear here, absolutely blue skies, absolutely beautiful, awesome. And you're right about that, Mimi. Mother Nature gets a deserved break. Absolutely. Andrew Haberman, what's going on? You said the polar vortex has arrived in the Northeast. Yeah, I mean, oh man, they're about, you know, I hope they're not, because where I lived in Rhode Island, you know, they were supposed to get, you know, a decent amount of snow. I'm like, man, they can have it. You know, I was born and raised there, and I'll tell you what, they had a bunch of it. You know, if you think back, even down here, it was the blizzard of '78. Yeah, that was pretty insane. Ian Wentworth, what's going on? Hey, from Scottish Highlands, what's going on? Yeah, Pete, it's kind of the same thing with us. It's like, you know, you said I won't see 60 till next Thursday. Well, it's supposed to be like the same thing for us. It's supposed to be, you know, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday is supposed to be pretty decent. So, you know, always looking forward to days like that. Coors, yeah, it's pretty warm tonight in England. Well, that's good. Alien, you said, Alien Tender, you said, Musk Space Force is putting up 5G satellites. Josh D, you said, move to the laptop, LOL. Yeah, I'm with you there. Alpha Beta, you said, crappy weather here in Kentucky. Nah. New chaotic order. You said 5G warming planet up? Nah. It's nothing like people are blowing it up to be. It's, like I said, it's basically, if you look it up, just look up the, the specs and everything else for 5G. Don't listen to all these YouTube channels making, oh my God, look at you won't believe it. It's like, yeah, they're making this weird, it's like misinformation and hype, But like I said before, it's like being next to any real transmitter, right? And it depends on the frequency that it's at. It could cause damage if you're next to it, literally has the antenna and you're right next to it. I mean, it can cause damage, of course. But, these things are way up in towers, you're away from it, and the 5G is not very high powered. In fact, it's not like 3 and 4G. It's the way it's more directional to hit each cell site. You just have to read on it, and it's pretty interesting. Get your information for yourselves. Don't go by all of this hype and garbage. Again, it could be like any other, radio signal, because that's basically what it is, right? If you stand next to it long enough, or whatever the frequency is, it can cause damage, sure, absolutely, but not the way the internet's blown. Oh my God. Cal Jacob 003, less chemtrails here too. Yeah, I've noticed that. Even here, we haven't had that many. When the skies are clear, oh my God, it's completely clear. It looks nice. Third eye open. What's happening? Max K, you said, don't know about you guys, but I was shocked to see the amount of satellites buzzing around up there and more on the way by Tesla. Don't like it. Well, these are basically just small. They're basically almost like a CubeSat, right? And all they are is a link. So what they do is, then of course, its actual satellites receiving and transmission is down on the ground. So they have these large satellite dishes. But that's just to link it all together. So, people that are like way in... excuse me, in the far reaches of the earth, so to speak, where there's no way to get cable there, no way to get even the satellites kind of real, the chance of you getting is slim and none, or if you do, it's a very weak signal. So it's for, places on earth that it's really, really remote where you can't get anything. So this will definitely be a big help. And here's the thing, to me, guys, the more information you can stream to yourself, and of course, good information that is, because we know the internet can be used as garbage or really good, for information. Information is good, right? You learn something new every day, it's a good thing. But, yeah, they're just little CubeSats just to link each other. That's all they're pretty much doing. So, I don't see it as a bad thing. Again, just read up on it. It's, a lot of people will hype it up to be like something really, really bad, and it's really not. Josh, you said, Chris, scientists announced that they found riverbed on Mars, LOL, a few days ago. Kind of itch my throat. It's got to be this, what do you call it, allergies. Although you wouldn't think there'd be as much as it's raining here. I'll drink to that. So we knew that they knew that and saw them a long time ago. It was Dutch, German, Australian, UK, and US people. Yeah, it figures, right? It's funny how, they already discovered all this, like you're saying, and then all of a sudden, a year or two later, or 3 years later, it's like, hey, we discovered maybe some water in some lake on, underground lake or whatever it is in, underground, like in the South Pole. It's like, we knew that. It's old news. What's going on, Frank? You said, hey, Chris, hope you and the family are safe. Almost missed the show. Frank M. No, you're good, man. And we're good here. Everything's fine. I hope everybody else is well as well. Because you hate to see, people getting sick or whatever the case is. No, I sure don't, Mimi. You said, does anybody watch the evidence channel? Are you talking about 3D evidence, or are you talking about just the evidence? Brian. He said, I'm here. No applause needed. What's going on, neighbor Chris? Ohio, coldish a shite. Yeah, it's dropping here as well. It was like 55, I think, this morning. And it's down to 47. It says the dew point's 44, but it's supposed to get down around 30. So I guess once this rain quits, and it's going to change over to maybe a brief period of snow here anyway, which is just awesome. Mother Nature, you suck. But it is what it is. I mean, can't change it. Why get worried about it, right? Z Quantum Leap, will we be needing our magnifying glasses today? If so, I'm ready. Yeah, I just picked out a random gigapan. We'll just have a look at it and see if we can find anything at all. I didn't even look at it, to be truthful. I think I looked at it, took a quick glance, and said, oh, this is pretty wide. Okay, we'll just go with that. Other than that, yeah, I hadn't even had a chance to look at it. We may find nothing in it. We might find something. Who knows, right? It's like Cracker Jacks all over. Maybe he said, I like the way he describes the anomalies. Huh. Is that the one you're talking about, though? Is that you talking about, oh boy, I'm going to come up and draw a blank here. 3D evidence, is that the one you're talking about? Mags, you said Elon's, hey daddy, good luck to the little Ash Archangel. Yeah, well, I think he'd make a great dad. I don't see why that would be a problem, because he'd probably never be home. Or he'd be sitting there brainstorming while he is home, right? Let me see here. I don't know if I missed part of that conversation or what. William Johnson, what's happening? He said, hi, Chris. Great moon video. Hi, all anomaly hunters. Well, I appreciate it there, William, and good to see you in there. Who's been banned? Of course, I see you saying to Alien. He said, yeah, can you believe he has been banned on YouTube? Crazy. I mean, he's going to send his child to Mars. Well, you can almost bet he'll go there. So you're probably thinking, why not go too? Stranger Times asked, have you done much on the moon? Yeah, if you go to my Lunar Anomalies and Beyond page, that's all it is just moon. And some of the other moons as well. So you can check that if you like. Yeah, Justy, yeah, Praveen, I've seen his, I like his work. In fact, he's on YouTube, I'm sorry, not just YouTube, but Facebook, and I don't know if he's on Twitter as well, but yeah, I mean, he's been talking about that, and I don't understand why they're giving him static. I mean, he's still on there. He hasn't been banned yet, but he's still on there. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I was watching the one he said he's like basically being censored, they're demonetizing, and I'm going, for what reason? Now, he did talk about one time about the COVID-19, but who cares? He wasn't spreading really any misinformation or none of that. I mean, did you guys see anything in his work that would, warrant him being demonetized in some of his work? That makes no darn sense at all to me. Robert Morgan, thank you for your support. I appreciate you. He said Alexander Irvine needs to send you a photo of moon crater with structure needs address. Yeah, you can either send it to my Facebook, my Mars Anomalies Facebook page. You can just drop the photo there. It's quicker for me to find it there than it is to unless you want to send it to my Mars Anomalies at AOL.com. You can send it there as well. I usually look at the Facebook before I look at the email, only because the first thing I do when I get up in the morning, I look at the YouTube channel as well as Facebook. So those are the first two things I hit. Better, yeah, you got better luck sending it there. Let's just put it that way. But, yeah. Love to check it out. Alien, I'm not so sure about all that. You said Musk is a technocrat. His Canadian grandfather started that little power mad cult off. Don't trust Musk. I mean, I don't see any reason not to trust him, other than as far as being affiliated with NASA, not divulging the entire truth, because he is now affiliated with them and he subcontracts through them and all this other good stuff. So he's basically working side by side with them and supplying the ISS and all this other good stuff. But as far as anything else, I mean, he's trying to better the planet. He's trying to, as far as resources and everything else, and you name it. I mean, he's into everything as far as, and the good thing, as far as like the electric car and stuff like that, where, and I said this before, where he actually keeps the any kind of blueprints and everything else free to the public, so that even other car makers can get a hold of it and make their own vehicles and everything. He just said, listen, it's not going to be patented. I'm just going to give it out to everybody. So everybody else can jump on board, all these other automakers, whether it be across the big pond, I don't care if it's in Russia, wherever it may be, so that they can do their own. And I think it's a good thing. So, I mean, if he really wanted to, he could say, no, it's all patented, forget it, I'm not doing any of that. You know what I mean? So, and he's got a good outlook as far as what he wants for, Earth and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people are on board with that part of it. Now, anything else, I'm not so sure of, but, Turge Gersley, I'm pretty much sure I just basically butchered your name, but my apologies if I did. He said, greets from Norway. Well, it's good to see you over there, and wave my hand to you and the family over in Norway. Not sure if I'm even pronouncing that right. Turge? Again, forgive me if I butchered that. Josh D said, yeah, he's on Twitter too and Instagram. That's what it was, the Instagram as well. Yeah, I like Praveen. I don't understand, again, why they're even censoring him at all. And I truthfully don't know why. Makes no darn sense. That's what I was just saying again, Josh. Praveen made a video of COVID, yeah. Which is, I don't know. It's senseless, and, and I watched that video, and I didn't see anything that he was trying to, like, steer the populace in any way. He wasn't trying to misinform anybody. I don't know. What's going on, the pale horse? Is that right, Josh? He's totally cut off. I remember him saying that. I remember how he showed, like, some of his videos showing that some of them, they were, like, demonetizing. I just don't understand. 420 Alien, you said, everyone be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Slam it down. I think it's like 85 watching, 33 thumbs up. Somebody's missed a couple of thumbs up. It's like, oh, pow. Noodles, you said, what you said? Where do you go? Even eventually a turbo nerd was going to take over. I enjoy the depth and dream aspect of the techno cult. Michael Stark, what's happening? He said, what's up, Chris? Happy Friday, everyone. What's going on, Michael? Good to see you in there. I got to go back every now and then because I keep seeing people, like, jumping in there. Yeah, it was, Mags, wasn't it? Elon's interview with Joe Rogan was very interesting. What time was it? Like when he was hitting that joint? It's like, oh my God. But it just goes to show you the guy's down to earth. I mean, I don't smoke weed, but the point is, it's like he's just like, hey, what's up? Maybe it's just his way to let everybody know. Listen, I'm just human like everybody else. I'm sure he's caught his flack in the past too. But the guy's got an incredible mind. If you listen to just the way he talks and everything else, definitely wouldn't mind shaking his hand. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Stranger Times, you said, what program and software do you use to edit the photos? I use Photoshop CS6 Pro. I agree with you, Brian. You said, I trust Musk. However, I think his hands are tied a bit. Maybe you could get them back on Joe Rogan smoking pot so he gets a loose tongue. Get him drunk, right? Basically staggering. Yeah, you wouldn't believe how much stuff's on Mars. It's like, what the? Did he just say what I think he just said? Let's see. The workout artist 216. Hey, Chris. Good to see you live streaming. You're live streaming, rather. Love your videos. Watching from Cleveland, Ohio. What's going on there, neighbor, over in Ohio? Well, I'm glad to see you checking out the videos and everything. I appreciate that. Rich, what's going on? He said, hi, everyone. Rich Williams in Central Florida. What's happening? Of course. He said, I actually forgot to thumbs up, haha, but just have. Well, thank you. Hit like. That's it. Let me see. They just jumped on me here. Cal Jacob 003 said, most of your Mars anomalies shows very small structures and such. What is your best guess height of Martians, rather? That's a great question, man. It's like, at some point you actually see things that are very large, and some things that look like very small. So you got to ask yourself, okay, so how big would these things have to be, right? And some of these things that we see that are close to the rover, they look very, very small. So what are these things, like this tall? I mean, I don't know. It's again, you see like things of both sides because we don't get a scaling. It's hard to tell. In fact, I was just going to do a Mars video, and I'm probably going to try to do this tomorrow and get it out for Monday, or I'll just do it over this weekend. And I'll show you the pan that we're going to do. And it's just like I've already enhanced this, and it literally shows what looks like any kind of structures, or it's just parts of intelligently made objects. Now, the first thing you think of, okay, so if it's only so far off, let's say I'm going to throw a number like 200 feet away, okay, which is really not that far away if you really think about it, and you see what looks like, flat tops of things or some kind of square pieces, with like rectangular openings, you go, okay, depending on the scale, are these small objects or these objects that were built and left in the sand, or are the actual a lot smaller structures, if there are, in fact, and it's a big if, and completely speculative, are they just little people? I mean, what do you guys think about that? Ian Wentworth, he said, are we going to get disclosure this year? Well, I think more and more of it's coming out. Now, whether we're going to get full disclosure, that's a whole different ballgame. And to be frank, I don't think I'm going to hold my breath. I'd love to see more and more of it, and I think more of it's going to start rolling out. If you guys have noticed, you get like little tidbits, and you're getting stuff from like the Pentagon. You're getting different things. So it's starting to like snowball kind of thing, which is really good, right? So I think we're going to start seeing more and more and more of it, and I'm okay with that. Hopefully. Let's see. Alien 10, he said, Musk's business ventures compared to his wealth doesn't match up. Well, you got to understand, too, if he's subcontracting through not just, for NASA, but other space agencies as well, you got to remember this guy's taking his money. Now, you've heard the term, you got to spend money in order to make money, right? So he's probably taking it, just overturning it right into these other businesses. And you can almost bet these guys are not stupid either. If you're rich, right, what's the first thing you're going to try to do? If you got any kind of sense, any kind of, for like long-term savings or IRAs or, so like, when you're finally retired or whatever, you got all kinds of cash in the bank and you're going to do it for your family and so on and so forth. So anybody who's got, you would hope that if they have a lot of money, they have just as much brains, if not more, to put this stuff away, to put the money away. And everybody does on a smaller scale, right? Because nobody's rich like he is, or like a lot of these rich people. You try to put, a nice little nest egg away in case of an emergency or whatever, and, just hope for the best. So I think that's the case. So, a lot of times he just turns that money over, back into others, either back into his business, whether it be SpaceX, Tesla, whatever it may be. He's got a boring company. He's got, the guy's into so much, and God only knows. He just bought that other one, like we were just talking, somebody had just mentioned earlier. They want to, like, basically embed a chip in us type thing, but he's going for that kind of, like, visor, like you see on Star Trek, where, he's wearing this thing, but they want to put the chip in your head kind of thing, where you can just get internet straight off. Just think of something. Can you imagine going, I wonder what it would take to fly the helicopter? You just sit there and think about it. You can Google it through your head, and next thing you know, it's downloaded into your brain, kind of like the Matrix, right? So that would be pretty interesting. And, of course, the people right off the bat, they fear, what's the first thing to think of? They're going to take me over. They're going to control me. That's not out of the realm of possibilities, but, I like to think of the more positive sides of things where it can benefit the human race, right? Steve Pelt, what's going on? Hey, from Texas. Good to see you in there. I'm going to jump way down to the bottom here. So if I missed anybody, please go ahead and just re-comment or whatever. Yes, exactly, Steve Pelgordy, when he had that, visor on there. Yeah, I have, Mimi. You said, Chris, have you heard about the newfound black hole? Now, they're saying it's like when they say not far from Earth, it's not something that's way off in the distant galaxy or way out in the universe. They said it's relatively close to home, meaning Earth. And, a lot of times, they're really starting to study the hell out of these things, right? And it's interesting to read on some of the stuff that they talk about. It's really, really cool. And I think they had not long ago, I'm trying to remember what they were called now, I won't remember it, where they had two black holes that collided into each other. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that was pretty interesting. Phil Cox with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown is also in the house. Lance and Ms. Blanco, what's going on? Josh D said the disclosure info will drip slowly from different channels so they can tell they told all. It is important to follow many outlets for news and little bits of info. Yeah, I try to get it straight from them, if you want to say call it straight from them. Like a lot of these space agencies, I don't care if it's ESA, depending on how you pronounce it. I don't care if it's from the Russian space, China space, NASA. It doesn't really matter what it is, right? If you can look at some of their photos, you go, yeah, but they're lying. Well, that's true, but if you could try to pick them apart and find out what's really there, then you kind of, I call it maybe 10, 20% of the information you're pulling out of these photos, if you're lucky, because some of them are so distorted, like they did with that moon video I just put out. If you guys haven't seen that, go to my Lunar Anomalies and Beyond page, where they literally had a grid over the actual video. It looks like a compression artifacts grid. Crazy, man. Just, you go, why would they do that? Well, it's to hide fine details. And of course, if they took it frame by frame and manipulated it back then, I don't care if it's like painting on or whatever they did, and maybe they put this over there so you wouldn't see the actual painting detail. Who the hell knows, for whatever reason, but there's clearly something there. There's no doubt. Alien, you said the Astrum channel put a video on Hubble looking at the planets, objects in our solar system, saying there's an ocean on Europa. Yeah, I believe it's, is it underneath the surface? But yeah, that's the best shot. They want to go to Europa in a big way. In fact, they want to send another probe, like a helicopter, like drone type thing there. Because I think they're going to find more over there than they think. And I think they've already found it. And this is the reason why they want to go there, to really closely inspect what's going on there, right? Lance Smith Blanco, you said, I'm not liking the mining on the moon talk on in the government. Anyone? I think it goes deeper than that, guys. I really do. I think they found a lot of this stuff. Remember we were talking about the Apollo missions and everything else and what we're seeing in these photos and what's being hidden? How do we know it's not just that? How do we know that some of the stuff that they're mining for isn't quite on the surface? Maybe some of the stuff is underground and they want to get to it. That's what I thought about. Now, again, it's pure speculation, but if they're finding the things, we've seen some of the crazy stuff, look like these desolate or these spaceships have been crashed there, just laying there. on the lunar surface, how do we know it's not something much bigger than that underground? And that's what they're looking to mine. Or are they mining, or are they just digging it up? Kind of like, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Oh, look at that, big obelisk or whatever they found there. Well, at least, in the movie. So how do we know that's not what's really going on, right? Oops. Mimi, you said, I heard the black hole doesn't behave like it should. Yeah, I didn't read it in, a bunch of stuff on there, so I can't tell you yay or nay. I did read it briefly, saying it was closer to Earth, and stuff like that, and kind of had this weirdness about it, but I didn't really get into detail and read it now. Yeah, I mean, it's purely speculative. New chaotic order. You said, what if COVID is a virus from Europe or from a creature they brought back? And you know what? It's hard to tell. It could be something from just a simple space rock. It could be anything. In fact, I don't know if you guys are reading this, but I'm not sure if it was in Antarctica or what it was, but they were literally finding stuff in the core samples. There was actually, viruses and stuff like that. There's tens of thousands of years old in these core samples of the ice. So what happens if you melt the ice and somehow it comes back alive? Where they found even the microorganisms, they literally can thaw it out and it just literally starts to live again. I mean, so how do we know? Is it something we've done and had no idea we've done it? Things to think about. Ghost of Vermont, paranormal, urbex, archaeology. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's exactly what it is. Going to archaeology, some kind of, they're just going to go up there and dig this thing up, right? And I've said this a lot. I said, how do we know it's just on the surface? Clearly if these things, how they claim that the moon may actually be hollow. Well, what the hell? Now, let's say there's nothing moving around up there and it's completely dead, meaning whatever's on the moon, and I said there was plenty of whatevers that was on that moon, and they actually have structures and things underground. Maybe that's what they're really there for. And how would we know the difference? If they said, well, we're up there mining, we got a nice little mining colony, how do we know? Are we going to go up there and just see them actually digging this? No. We'll never know. We won't have a telescope, big enough to actually see what they're doing. So, yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one, Brian. He said, please, no frickin' corona talk, virus talk here. Let's talk aliens. It's time away from corona. Yeah, I got to agree with you strongly on that. It's insane. Oh, yeah, exactly. You said they told us this mission in Prometheus. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, there's so much going on, and I think, I don't even think we've even touched the surface, to be honest with you, as far as what our government knows and what they're really, really into, because, truth be told, how do we know? I mean, these guys could be spending, like trillions of dollars on the side, sending out different probes to different planets that they never even talked about, going here, going there in our solar system, and of course, beyond exosolar system, we don't know. Of course, it would take a long time to get it there, but regardless, we don't know if it's, sent it out, since the 60s for all the hell we know, and it's taking pictures or just trying to get signals back, so on and so forth, right? Yeah, maybe you said, mining is just a cover up for something else. Now, don't get me wrong, it may actually be the plan to dig for anything like that, for like minerals or stuff like that, helium-3. Could be anything, right? But I don't think that's the only reason. If they found some of the stuff we found in these photos, which look like, again, spacecraft have been there for hundreds of thousands of years, whatever they might have been, why would we assume it's only on the surface? Why were they on the moon to begin with? Was there something going on? Was there structures on the moon? And a lot of things point to that there were structures on the moon. That doesn't mean they didn't build under the moon. How the hell do we know? It's just my thoughts. I'm not saying everybody has to agree with that, and it's just pure speculation. It's just a thought. It's hard to tell. Yeah, Pete, I agree with you. You said manipulation of moon vids has me convinced there's something going on up there. Yeah, that and which what we're finding in these photos, right? Some of the stuff that they've actually hidden in there, and when you bring it out, you see these shapes of something else sitting right there in front of these astronauts where it was actually covered up. So it makes you wonder, right? Yeah, exactly, Steve. Yeah, you said also if we have bases on the moon, we wouldn't know when they launch any further solar system probes. Yeah, we wouldn't know. I mean, they could, if they literally, let's say they went up there. Remember I told you guys, I mean, if they retrofitted a space shuttle from the 80s, put more fuel in there where they had the bay doors, more fuel, retrofit it so it can go to the moon. And if they built down there, if they had something similar to that, they can just land, build on the moon, boom, boom. They built since even the 70s, 80s, who knows, right? And they have a small base there. They could literally bring other little probes inside that, inside the bay area of those shuttles. Why not? They did it with a lot of, satellites they put out in space. They literally get the crane and just pick it out and put it into orbit, and off it went. And that's how they built the ISS with these, with these shuttles. They put them in the bay areas and bring up parts there, and that's how they built them. So how the hell do we know? Now, speaking of the actual, let me see if I can find this. Let me see here if I can find this bad boy. Yeah, we'll have to go over here. Maybe. See if we can find this bad boy. Yeah, so this is the pan we'll be doing a little bit. But check this out. Let's get this over here. Space Force. You guys seen this? Pretty cool. Let me do this. Go back over to here.
Some people look to the stars and ask, what if? Our job is to have an answer. We have to imagine what will be imagined. Plan for what's possible while it's still impossible. Maybe you weren't put here just to ask the questions. Maybe you were put here to be the answer. Maybe your purpose on this planet isn't on this planet.
Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Right about, let's see if I can find it where it was at.
On this planet.
Oh, it's not there. Let's see where this was at. Let's go
Questions.
right about here.
Maybe you were put here to be the answer.
That look familiar to you guys? It should. Let me do this. Get it from this other screen here. Oh, looky, looky. The Boeing X-37. Imagine that. Imagine that. Boeing X-37. If I remember correctly, this thing was like flying around for like 2-3 years at some point. I know it was for an extended amount of time. Also known as the Orbital Test Vehicle, or the OTV, is a reusable robotic spacecraft. It is boosted into space by a launch vehicle, kind of like the space shuttles were, right? It was they used to piggyback on a 747. Then re-enters Earth atmosphere and lands as a space plane. The X-37 is operated by the United States Space Force for orbital space flight missions intended to demonstrate reusable space technologies. It is a 120% scale derivative of the early Boeing X-40. The X-37 began as a NASA project in 1999 before being transferred to the U.S. Department of Defense in 2004. Its first flight was during a drop test in 2006. X-37 has completed 5 orbital missions. And, of course, it gets into the mission, but it makes you wonder, though, right? Pretty interesting. So, yeah, this thing wasn't... I'm sure it has other reasons why it was orbiting this, right? And it tells you, when the space plane's first mission, USA 212, was launched on April 2010 and returned to Earth in December 2010. A second X-37 was launched in a mission US 226 in March 2011. And you can see where it went to, like it was a year up there. The third mission was launched in December 2012 and then landed in October 2014. The fourth mission, was USA 261, launched on, let me see. Well, actually, let's go to the longest one. It was launched on September 7, 2017, and was the longest X-37 mission to date, landing on October 2019. So it went a couple years. So it just gives you an idea. This thing's been up there for a reason. Makes you wonder, what were they doing at that time to actually, do that, Let's put that up here. Well, let's tweak it up here. Here's another interesting piece. Let's see, we'll just make that bigger. NASA unveils 16 payloads that private lunar landers will take to the moon. Yeah. The commercial spaceflight industry is thriving and regulators won't get in the way. That's the message that speakers at the 23rd Annual Commercial Space Transportation Conference in Washington this week want to get out. So they're basically talking about anything Astrobotic. These companies, Astrobotic of Pittsburgh and Intuitive Machines, LLC, of Houston. We'll study the chemistry of materials of lunar regolith, which future astronauts could harness and use the radiation environment. Who knows what's going on there, but you can learn more about the 16 experiments here, science experiments. First commercial moon delivery assignments to advance Artemis. NASA's finalized the first 16 space experiments and technology demonstrations ranging from chemistry to communications to be delivered to the surface of the moon under the Artemis program. Scheduled to fly next year. And of course, this was in January 22nd, 2020, so of this year. It's not like it was old. Let me get a sip of this. Scheduled to fly next year, like I said, the payloads will launch aboard the first 2 lander deliveries of the agency's commercial, let me make this a little bigger, of the agency's commercial lunar payload services, or the CLPS initiative. These deliveries will help pave the way for sending the first woman and next man to the lunar surface by 2024. Let me see what else I go on to say here. Basically talking about the partners and what they're going to be doing up there. Laser, retroreflective array, which they already have up there. Surface exosphere alterations by landers. Photovoltaic, investigation of lunar surface. Lunar energy transfer spectrometer. Near infrared volatile spectrometer will measure surface and subsurface hydration, carbon dioxide and methane, all resources that could potentially be mined from the moon, while also mapping surface temperature and changes at the land. But it goes on and on and on about this stuff. So I find that pretty interesting. A lot of stuff here. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see. No, not going to do that. You guys will get these as always, but it just goes to show you there's a lot of stuff they're going to be doing. Neutron measurements in the lunar surface, neutron spectrometer. Pretty cool stuff. What do you guys think of that? Go back to this. What else do we have in here? Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen this because there's been talk about this as well, and about that other comet. The comet itself. Oops. Oops. Do it this way. Something is off about the Interstellar comet. 21 Borisov is dramatically different from most other comets we've seen before. And the way they said it, I think it gives off more carbon than anything. In 2019, astronomers made an incredible discovery, a comet from a different star system making a close approach to the sun at an extremely unusual trajectory, which was later named 21 Borisov, after the amateur astronomer who discovered it. Observations suggest that its home star system could resemble our own. NASA scientists have even suggested that the object may hold water. Now, let's see if I can find this. There it is. Now, a new study by an international team of researchers led by NASA has revealed something highly unusual. Gas emanating from the comet contain unusual amounts of carbon monoxide, up to 26 times higher than that of the average comet. This is the first time we've ever looked into a comet from outside our solar system, and it is dramatically different from most other comets we've ever seen. Martin Cordner, I guess, is astrochemist. Let me see. At the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, and lead author of the study published on the journal Nature, Astronomy, said in a statement. So yeah, I find that pretty interesting too. The comet must have formed from material very rich in CO2, or CO ice rather, carbon ice, which is only present at the lowest temperatures found in space below negative 420 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 250 degrees Celsius. Stephanie Malam, planetary scientist at the NASA Goddard Space Center, blah, 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 blah. They believe the abundance of gas could tell us about comets' home. What do you guys think of that? Find it pretty interesting. Again, it just happens to be finding all these really bizarre things that are in the weird trajectories going through our solar system. There always seems to be something weird, and yet we got a ton of friggin' million rocks everywhere floating around and flying by, but yet those just happen to be something we should keep our eyes on. Yeah. All right, let me go back here. Custom Tailored One, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Renee Walls, hello. Just got home from work, she said. Good to see you in there as well. Let's see. I'm trying to go back here a little bit here. Rich. Okay, that's it. Sign me up. I want to join the Space Force. If I was young enough, I would. You can imagine some of the crazy things they probably, whether the technologies even, forget about anything else, right? Just the technologies you'll get to learn about, and some of the things you'll either encounter if there is a Space Force and they're out in space, keeping an eye on Earth, meaning protecting our planet, whether it be from space bodies flying through the solar system or other things flying around. Let me see. Michael Stocky said, our moon is a hard-shelled, constructed Dyson sphere with a hollow interior full of cities. The surface is camoed, yet many city structures are on the surface, just same color as the surface. Yeah, and I've said this before. Just look at a real clear photo from the LRO, right, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. And you'll see, like, the rounded parts where there isn't any, let's say it's bare. That particular area is bare. And then you can see, like, not far off, you'll see an actual, a crater. Big, small, doesn't matter. And when you look at the floor of these wider comets, they're just the same exact, they're not deeper than the actual, surface itself. You can see let's say this is a giant one over here, and you can see that it's like a real large floor to that crater. It's no deeper than the regular lunar surface. What gives on that? What do you guys think about that? And I've said that before. It looks like, to make it look deeper, it's like the actual walls of the crater are just taller. They're not deeper. That's what I find really odd. What do you guys think about that? You guys think that's true, or there's something you guys see it differently? Well, it's funny you asked that, Steve, because you said still designing rather space planes. LOL. Well, again, this thing's been going for 2 years, been out in orbit, right? Do we all know where it's been just circling Earth, or has it been somewhere else? Think about that. How do we know? I mean, it could very well be. It could have actually been just, that's it, orbiting around Earth, nothing more. But like you guys claimed, yeah, it's like get any kind of other little CubeSats from other countries and stuff. It's not very big, and I don't think it's like I said, it's a miniaturized version of the space shuttles, right? And I'm not sure if there is an actual payload or, like a little area to put stuff, a payload into. But regardless whether it is or isn't, 2 years, the thing's just sitting there orbiting Earth. And some people have speculated that, how do we know it didn't go to Mars or the moon or whatever, just to go there, just fly there? It doesn't have to use any propulsion. It just needs to get away from Earth's gravity, just coast there. It's on a trajectory to get to the moon. It can orbit around there and just fly back. How do we know? And maybe it took some other pitches. Maybe it got lowered down towards the surface of it. Who the hell knows? It's pure speculation, but because I haven't read that anywhere. But how do we know? James Cragen, what's going on? He said, Chris, I watched a video about fracking in South America. They went down thousands of feet to a depth where archaeologists said would be back 50,000 years, and bits of pottery, etc., coming out. I'm not even a bit surprised, though. I'm not even surprised. Again, I remember, and I told you guys a story where, I forget where the hell it was, that they were actually digging, in regular coal mines and stuff like that, and it went down like, I don't know if it was like a mile down into this mountain or whatever it was, even if it was 100 feet rather. There's so many layers of ground. When you go down 100 feet, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you're starting to get into layers of the Earth, and that could mean thousands of years ago, and they literally ran into a brick wall. It was an actual brick wall. Now, I'm sure it wasn't like you'd build your houses today. It might have been just, rocks put into like a wall type thing, but regardless. Let me see here. What's going on there, Limey Watcher? You said there are things up there and have been there for time itself. Interesting video I put up yesterday. I am not trying to get views, just look at what's up there. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff, whether it be just space junk, all kinds of things flying around. In fact, I had a video, and I'm going to try to find this thing, where there was just some bizarre things flying by the ISS and other spacecraft where clearly it was not just space junk. One thing looked like a boomerang flying around. I was like, what is that? So, yeah. Brian. Michelob Ultras and Chris, the president of Mars. Nothing finer. I don't know about the Prez, but, if I had a chance to go there, I'd go. How many other people here would go? Whether, you got family or not, would you go? Especially if they said it was a two-way trip. In other words, a round trip back, go to Mars, come back. Because you'd have to be there for 2 years. Because that's when Mars is closest, every 2 years. So this is the reason why you have this, every time you see a mission, it's like every 2 years. Because that's when it's closest, like I said, to Earth. But would you guys go or no? Let's see. Starship Troopers, yeah. Chaotic Order, you said, I think we have space base on Venus already. I look at it this way. Let's suppose they don't. Okay. Let's suppose they don't at all anywhere. But you can almost bet they have these robust landers there that could sit there and just monitor the weather, live video, whatever they want to do. And they're capable, if they do have quantum communications, then it would be seconds to get the information back here to Earth. And not X amount of time as opposed to what we would think, right? Let me see. What's going on there, Mona Gidlin? Let me see. Oh yeah, you could definitely build a city on Venus. You can build one anywhere, as long as it's not too hot or not too cold. Which a lot of these, when they say, oh, it's too hot there on that particular planet, whether it be Mercury, but there is an actual sweet zone or sweet spot where you can go up to the poles. There's actually, guess what? Ice. And then you go to this, in the center of the planet, it could be smoking hot. But there's like a sweet spot, almost like a Goldilocks zone right there in the planet itself. They could very well, Steve. Do they have Jimmy Neutron working for them? It could very well be. Chaotic Order, you said, in a big way, but I think we've already colonized Mars and Venus. And then, of course, you said, I mean the moon, not Mars. It could very well be. See, the thing is, we can just say, like I said, I've said this before. If they went on the moon to begin with, right, had X amount of Apollo missions, why would they stop? Because they could do this in secrecy now. They just keep going back and forth. And like I said, they can do anything they want. They can retrofit like a space shuttle to go there. What's the difference between the space shuttle and the regular, rocket? Rocket has a lot more fuel, right? Well, they could still piggyback one of these things, or, piggyback it and then have it just use its own thrust, get out into space. Well, once it's in its trajectory, shut off the engines, just coast all the way to the moon, do what they got to do around it, whether they're taking pictures, flying there, whatever it is that they're doing, and then just hit the thrusters, trajectory back to Earth, and then they just come in and just land like a plane, like they always have. Or they can use something, that was stealthy back in the day. Do the same thing. Nobody would be none the wiser. They won't see it take off nor come back. It'd be invisible to radar, right? Exactly, Frank. You said no rules, no problem. They can get away with anything on the moon. Who's gonna police them, right? Yeah, exactly. Who the hell's gonna police them? I agree with you, Chaotic Order. You said the secrets of Earth lies in the planets around us. Yeah, you know why? Because that's our history. Because we don't even know if there was life on Mars, meaning people like ourselves, or just organics and all this other stuff, and then it maybe made its way here, started life here, meaning the panspermia theory, could have been there first and then came here. We don't know that for sure, but that's one of the theories. And if we're finding stuff on the moon, whatever put those things on the moon had to come into the solar system. So you can almost bet they've been on other planets here, other moons here, and they probably had structures all over the place. So you can almost bet that's where all our history is, right there, right in our own solar system. And you can bet that it's ancient, meaning, again, I think this was maybe at one time, this is a hop in solar system, because it was in a different part of the universe way back in the day, millions of years ago. And now that it's in this area, who knows what was living here didn't just say, well, we're through with this solar system. Maybe some of the planets died off, and I'm talking millions of years ago. why don't we just jump to another solar system and make life there? Kind of like we're doing. Like, what happens if our planet dies? We need to spread out. We need to be spacefaring. How do we know they didn't do this millions of years ago, right? And moved on, and this is just basically like an old city block that's just been, in ruins and stuff. And now we're just starting to see our ancient history, and I mean ancient, and just looking around in our own solar system. Frank, you said, I haven't noticed NASA does not crash stuff on the moon anymore. Yeah, you know why? Because they pretty much figured out everything they needed to find out. They've done it, 2 or 3 times. They crashed the third stage of the rocket, the biggest part of the rocket, onto the moon. They had seismographs there to take the readings. And, of course, they said it rang like a bell for like hours on end, and some was like really long. So they knew, but the astronauts digging, stuff that they found, these seismographs, so on and so forth. They had a feeling I have a feeling they had a feeling that they said something about this moon is just not right. Okay? So they decided to go up there, and this is what these Apollo missions were for. They went up there, maybe they seen it with a really large telescope, said, wait a minute, there's something on there that just doesn't make sense. We need to get there. And that's what this was all about. Same thing with the Soviet Union, now Russia. Same bloody thing. They sent the Lunokhod rovers up there, which they traveled a pretty darn good distance on the moon. So what were they looking for? Oh, these are nice moon rocks. These are pretty. Now, there's much more to it than that. You can imagine even back then the technology they had to put into these things, even though they're now considered crude, back then it was cutting edge. The money, the technology, the planning, the this, that, and the other. I mean, and just to send it there to see simple rocks. Well, we just need the soil and see the samples to see where these rocks, if they came from somewhere else. And clearly there are rocks because there's things that, pummel the moon every now and then. So, yeah, I mean, obviously they want to see the rocks there too. But is that the real reason why they were there? I don't believe that. I don't believe that's the only reason. And based on what we've been seeing in these photos, definitely not the reason. Mags, you even said the same thing. You said, spot on, Chris. They're all the same depth as far as the craters. Exactly, right? Yeah. Mimi, you said maybe NASA made a contract with the extraterrestrials to be allowed to mine the moon. I thought of that myself, and the only thing I could think of is, let's suppose we were all aliens, we're all living on the moon. I don't know if I want people digging in my backyard or digging through the roof of my structures. Unless it's on the remote part of the moon and they just don't care. I don't know. If they were there for millions of years, I don't think they'd allow that. That's what's making me think there's nothing on the moon as far as things living on it now. I think, again, it's abandoned. At one time, it probably not. Judging on, they said they've seen lights in these craters, so on and so forth. I mean, how do we know this wasn't, these lights in these craters weren't structures and they had like an endless power generation thing where they didn't have to worry about it? Much better than fusion or anything. It just, kind of keeps these facilities running, but there's nothing there. How do we know? Like I said, I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing on the moon, but if there, it would make sense if there isn't. And they went up there and studied it and said, okay, there is clearly nothing on this moon. We can have at it. And who knows if they didn't say, well, we'll continue to dig or mine like maybe these other beings did. Or they never did. They just made a home out of it. And it might have been several different, aliens that were there at one time. Because keep in mind, this might have been thousands of years ago. And then another 1,000, some more alien beings come to the moon. And then they check out Earth and whatever else. And, as time goes by, different ones come, Of course, they probably pick apart their technology and then take it. So you can imagine it's kind of like, going up there and seeing these spacecraft like stripped down to the bone or down to the frame. You go, what the hell happened here? Well, how do we know if we found them? We wouldn't want to do the same thing, of course. So how do we know other beings didn't do the same? Again, all speculation, pure speculation, but we don't know. There's definitely things on that moon. There's no doubt about it. To grasp. Chris, you should have merch that says pure speculation, but how do we know? Or see that phrase you say that I love. Well, yeah, I thought about that, because I've already got the merch up there. I figured, it may not be bad to expand that, right? Yeah, but what you do is you put an anomaly there and then put on there, see that? That would be pretty interesting, right? H-Doss, what's going on? You said 1AV. You said, I'd go. Yeah, well, and as far as the round trip to Mars, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying you'd go. Josh D, I'd go right now. He said, give me a one-way ticket. No doubt if I'll go right now. Yeah, I mean... Let's go together. Yeah, there you go. We'll just get a craft and we'll just all fly up days. Maybe you said the whole chat. Yeah, you're definitely going to want something that'll protect yourself, right? Frank? Put this like this. Steve, you said mostly to explore Cydonia. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, Mags, I thought Noodles was up there too. I thought he's in Vancouver as well. He said he's already there. James, you said, once I am on your ship, Chris, yes, I will go. Lance Miss. I'd go as long as my wife stays here. Why do you think I want to go? Ooh, that's tough right there. Rich, you said, hell yes, I'd go. Photography Light Magic, sign me up one way. I ain't coming back to this virus-infested planet. Stuck in the YouTube matrix, you said, hey, everyone, what's going on? There you go. I take selfies with the Martians. It's like, stand over here a minute, will you? No, over here. Take pictures. Have a couple of them behind you photobombing you. Brian Norton, you said 2 years on Mars, Chris? People are losing their minds being in quarantine for 4 weeks. Not good for the general public. Well, here's the thing, though. If you had a way to just wander around on Mars and just check out all these things and if these structures are in fact there, would you'd have so much to look at and so much to just go over that you'd be surprised how fast time would go by. And, and if you think about it, yeah, I'd probably want to be on Mars before excuse me, drink will kill me. It would be a lot better than being quarantined here on Earth. Steve Pelt, you said the pressure on Venus is too high for humans. Yes, but they also said if you go 3/4 up in the atmosphere, it's kind of like just like Earth. That's why I think it was Venus guys that they said if there was any life on there, it'd be like floating cities kind of sort of thing, right? Because as you go up into there, into the well, I wouldn't say low orbit, but if you go into the upper atmosphere, it's kind of just like Earth. Rude LaFlang, you said, have you seen the Antarctic docu by Linda Moulton. I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen a few of her things. I don't believe I've seen that documentary, though. Douglas D., I'm reading this book since I got time on my hands. The Ancient Art of Strangulation. Eee. Oops. Darn it. Alien Tenno. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. There's a Walmart on the moon, Chris. God, I hope it's not, hope we can only, we don't have to wear any mask or anything. I hope we can just go right in and shop. That would be pretty interesting. James Cragen, you said Chris, man. He said Jesus, Chris, man. If if anyone has any doubts about what is on the moon, ask them to have a pic of any of your lunar videos, and that won't be long changing their minds. Trust me, man. Well, compared to what we've seen there, just no way around it. And again, I would love to be able to go to the moon, and see the things that these people are trying to cover up. Oh my God, I can only imagine what that's like. Because if they're hiding this stuff, we're not seeing nearly the detail or anything. If you're lucky to see a shape of something or, whatever it may be, and you can see these things lined up next to where the astronauts are. You can see certain what looks like structures. And, of course, you can't see nearly the detail you're supposed to see. You can't see anything of great value on these photos, but you can see that they're being hidden. Not only the manipulation, obfuscation, but you can actually see what looks like things sitting right there next to where they're actually taking pictures and everything else. So no doubt in my mind. Michelle, I just sent you an Ed Dames interview, Christopher. Yeah, is that the same one he's been, when he talked about how he was, oh no, wait a minute. I think I'm confusing the guy. Wasn't he a remote viewer, or was the Ed Dames, trying to think if he was the one that went to Mars, he was a soldier. I'm getting confused on those right now. But good to see you in there. Denise Bunch. Hi, Noodles. Hi, Damon. How are you? I seen that, Robert. Yeah, it said something about 3.5 billion year old human was a foot. I thought it was a footprint, not a boot print on Earth. Where are we on Mars first? Shoe prints don't lie. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much crazy stuff either you're finding on Mars or the moon. And for a fact that, you got to say to yourself, okay, again, this is the reason why I started making lunar videos, because I was already looking at Mars photos and the moon, right? And I said, the reason why I want to do the lunar ones is because clearly, again, if we have things on the moon that we can see on there, meaning what the astronauts are seeing themselves, but, and then, of course, NASA or whoever it is trying to doctrine up these photos. If they're seeing these things, guess what? Again, if it's on the moon, you can almost bet there's something on almost every, planet that's, livable, so to speak, in our solar system. So yeah, where would you search for it first? You clearly would search for it here in our solar system. It makes absolute sense. Like we're talking about the moon Europa. We're talking about Mars. We're talking about different planets and moons. Clearly, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on, right? And there's things to be seen. James Cragen, yeah, we'll do that. You said get me something up in Walmart's as well, man. Oh man, hey, maybe we can go to that Walmart, right? Get them like a GoPro or something like that. Give it to NASA so they can take better photos. What do you guys think? Erica Joy said, "Hey guys, sorry I'm jumping in late." No, you're fine. Good to have you in there. Okay, yeah. Michelle, yeah, you said major in the U.S. Air Force. Exactly. Okay, I was just trying to remember now off the top of my head. I'm saying, which one? And here's the thing, guys. You can watch like a billion of these documentaries, right? And then you end up getting confused. They kind of like interwoven because you've learned so much about this, that, and the other that this kind of thing happens, you know? Arts and Crafts, she said, these live streams really make my week. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Anomaly family. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it too. I love coming to this thing, you know, just get on there with everybody and just have this conversation and overlook different things and different topics. It's awesome. It's what I love. Great bunch of people. Again, James, thank you for your support. It is appreciated. Mimi said there's a Kmart on Mars. Nah, chances are not. I think Walmart beat them out. Stiff competition. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Steve. Yeah, it's a giant footprint. I've seen that. I don't know if that's... Do you think that's the real deal or you think it's kind of bogus? Wasn't there one before where they had a series of footprints right next to dinosaur prints? And, of course, they said that was a hoax, a bunch of BS. Because I can't imagine something that's been there for millions of years wouldn't be covered up by now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that I don't believe that would be true. But, you know, you can always be on the fence. If you're open-minded, you'd be on the fence about it, right? There you go, Elaine Walls. That's the spirit. So we are making CBD oil hand sanitizer at work. I told my boss I want to be paid in toilet paper and hand sanitizer. There you go. Let me see here. Well, thank you, Michelle. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing it right, so forgive me if I'm not. Good to see you in there. What we got here? Yeah, you're right about that, Steve. According to the Bible, there was giants in the earth. Josh D, I don't think you're alone there. He said, Brian, you're talking to Brian. You said, I love Earth, but I'd be given the chance, I'd leave immediately. Well, I mean, it's just for exploration, right? I mean, think about it. If you were one of these Apollo mission guys, right, one of these astronauts, what would you do? You know, and here's the thing. You know, again, I've always said, listen, these guys had to have been persuaded to go, because think about this. How much money would it take you for them to convince you to say, listen, we're going to send you guys to the moon, because you guys got credentials, you know, a lot of these guys were in the Air Force, whatever. We're just going to let you guys, we want you to go to the moon. Would you be okay with that? Okay, what are we going up there for? We're going to look at moon dust and rocks. There's a chance you may not come back, by the way. So they're thinking to themselves, okay, I got family at home. There's not enough money you can pay me. Again, if they said, well, if something happened to you, your family would be taken care of. Okay, but I'm dead. What's the frickin' point? So, you know, I won't be able to enjoy my family anymore. What's the point? But if they said to you, oh, by the way, and they showed you on a screen, this is what you're going to be seeing, by the way. If you notice these things that are here and you said, oh my God, what is that? Well, we think it's a spacecraft and some kind of structures. Call me in. Hell, you don't even have to, you know, just get me up there. You know, I don't care if it's minimum wage, get my ass up there. You know, so I mean, but think about it. I mean, you know, there had to be something that you'd really want to go there for. It's not just something simple like dust and rocks. Exactly, Mags. You said Göbekli Tepe had depictions of things that weren't even around at the time it was built. And if you remember, there was one that actually had it look like a stegosaurus, a dinosaur there. There's one over in, what was it called? I'm gonna totally mess this up, but it was over in Cambodia, Angkor Wat, I think it was, where they've had like a stegosaurus and some other dinosaurs. I know Göbekli Tepe had lizards, almost looked like one of those dodo bird type things too, wasn't it? Some kind of weird carvings. I believe that too, Frank. He said thousands of years, Chris. We were here when the dinos were here. Yeah, and they claimed that we weren't. And I find it hard to believe, but we were, you know. Again, when you see carvings of these people now, keep in mind, if there was no dinosaurs back in them days, then how do these people carve them, especially a stegosaurus? Literally, they carved it. Like the thing was like posing. I mean, they knew exactly what it looked like, and they, you know, the scales and everything else on its back and the whole nine. How the hell did they know that? Had to have been a reason. They were there. Great question. Now, Chaotic Order said, are dinosaurs even from Earth? Oops. Oh, it jumped on me again. I hate it when it does that. Let's see. Erica Joy, you said, do you guys think NASA has the right to keep these things secret from us? I'm sorry. It is part of our history, too. It's so wrong how they lie. Totally agree. And I think everybody else in here would agree, too. But it's all about, you know, taking the technologies. It's all about taking what they want, and let's say they took everything and scavenged everything. Let's say it's 20 years down the road. They went up there, they scavenged everything they need to scavenge off there, and who the hell knows? Once they get people on the moon, they can bury these things so you wouldn't see them anymore. And all of this has been hidden and swept under the rug, or under the lunar soil, right? So they've taken everything they needed, brought it here, hid everything they needed to hide, whether blow it up into pieces and bury it. Who the hell knows? At this point, we wouldn't know. We would never know. Michael, you said, is it for exploration or to escape the few horrible, evil people that ruin it for all the people on Earth? Yeah, it might be the case. Jesse, you said, I'd go with you, Chris. Yeah, let's just get the hell off here, will we? Let me see. Steve says, now I'll pass. Then gets told and shown, yup, sign me up. That gets told after signing waiver, dog, yeah, but you can't tell anyone else about what you find except soil samples. And I totally agree with you, Steve. You know, again, you know, if they said rocks, and I'm going to risk my life for freaking rocks and soil? Why the hell would I do that? No, I'm good. But then they go, oh, by the way, you know, I'd be like, listen, sign me up. Doesn't matter what the pay is. Sign me up. I'm there. Pete, yeah, you're right about that. NASA military controlled, no public acknowledgement. You know, again, the powers that be, the real powers that own this planet, is in charge of NASA. Everybody's got a boss at some point, right? There has to be like the head cheese all the way down, like a pyramid kind of thing, down to us people, which get no knowledge at all because, you know, we're not in the know, and we're not privileged enough to know. That's why we got to read between the lines in a lot of these photos. Alien, you were responding to Ian Wentworth. He said the first cameras were Polaroid 6-pack, 6 in a pack. You know what? The sad part was the Polaroid photos were better photos than what NASA's showing us. But make no mistake, guys, what we're finding on the photos that are coming from Mars, the moon, you know, even the cameras back in the day, the Hasselblads, very cutting-edge cameras for their time. I promise you that those are probably just as good as any, you know, photo you have today. I promise you they are. Just like we're seeing on Mars, those are, I promise you those are like probably pristine, almost like a 4K, at least 1080 photos, clarity. But by the time they're done manipulating, doing this, taking copies of it, doing whatever, downplaying the actual, you know, the actual resolution of these photos, you could bet they're complete crap. This is the reason why they look like complete crap as we see them, right? But you can almost bet that pristine photos when they first get them. Almost promise you they are. Mick Gust, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Been a while for me. Stay safe. Well, you do the same. Mick, good to see you in there. I agree with you, Erica. You said there's so obviously a direct correlation between the megalithic buildings here on Earth and those on Mars. It's driving me crazy. Oh, absolutely. Let me see if we can find this here. All right. Michelle, I found I got your email there, so I appreciate you sending that. I'm going to definitely check that out. See, to me, I've seen parts of that anyway, but yeah, I'll definitely check it out, so I appreciate you sending them links to my email. Michael Stark, he said, weird objects have been found that mess up our mainstream timelines, like the wristwatch that's 5 million years old, a shoe that's 2 million years old. A mainstream narrative is either lying or have no clue. Yeah, Erica, it'd be nice if we can get these things, somebody would like say, anonymously, like, I want to send you this. They send it to me to my email and actually show a real photo. And, that would be cool. I was thinking this one day. I'm going, that would be cool if, let's say we had, I'm going to just throw a number, Sol 507, okay? And they said, by the way, this is the same picture it's being offered to you from NASA. Here's the real one. That would be insane if you saw the real thing, what's really there. That would be incredible. And of course, some of you guys would say, would you share it with us, Chris? Absolutely. Absolutely. Soren Saxon, he said, nice to be back. It's been a while. Keep up the good work. Well, I appreciate you coming here, man. Yeah, it's been a while, too, now that I think about it. Oops. James, you said, Chris, there are carved-in parts of the Indian temples and as far away as Hawaiian Islands and in volcanic rock. That has to tell us something about what the people of the past saw in different parts. I totally agree with you. And again, it's not like you and I, right? We could just sit there and say, oh, well, wow, that's interesting to me, and take a photo, right? It's so easy just to do that. These people seen something incredible and made them want to either etch it in stone, whatever it is that they did. They wrote about it, carved it, whatever it might have been. These people seen something that, made them want to draw it, talk about it, you name it. So, and they just weren't just sitting there just like, oh yeah, just going to draw for no reason. No, it had to have been something that really fascinated them and made them want to do something about it. There you go. Let me see. Lance Blanco, he said there is a house or building on the moon that got hit directly by a meteor, and half of the building fell in the crater, and you can see right into the building that is still standing. Can look right in. Huh. Was that a video you guys were talking about earlier, or was that an actual photo? If it's a photo, you guys should drop the link so we can check it out. Photography Light Magic. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that too. You talking to Erica, you said I have spent 2 years researching how to do that, which what we were talking about is actually try to lift the basically the mask over what they're putting over these photos, these Martian photos, right? Yeah, I will be starting a new channel soon called Mars Project Genesis 2.0. You will see what 2 years research can do. I'd be interested to see that, Photography Light Magic. Let me know when you get that up and running, right? You know, it reminds me, I don't know who you were talking to, Arts and Crafts. You said, or the real old computer. Oh, you're talking about the Antikythera device, I think it was, right? That was pretty interesting. It reminded me, because when you said computer, I was just, that's why I was actually on late, guys. I was actually wiping my Z800 computer, which is basically a server, but I just put a hard drive in it and a GPU, set it all up and everything else, and wiped it, put Windows 10 back on it, and I'm going to be selling that, but I just literally finished. I was like, oh my God, look how close it is to this time. So I had the monitor sitting right here on the desk here, and I took everything and just put it all aside, shut it down, and put it aside. So it reminded me when you said computer. So yeah. Let's see. Michael, you asked, Chris, have you revisited any Ganymede pics? The vid you did with multi-layer levels going on to and from structures and crater cities were great. Every single moon and planet probably is inhabited in the same way. Well, my guess is what they're doing is, depending on, we're going to just say humanoids, whatever they were, aliens, people unlike us, whatever. Depending on the gravity, depending on the atmosphere, they would build in certain ways, right? See, people go, well, if you showed like a certain structure and you just said, people going, what the hell? How can he say that's a structure? It looks like some kind of weird, like rock, like weirdness to it. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't look anything like what we'd build here. Why would they? Why would they do that? They automatically make the assumption that it's going to be, every now and then you get that one person on the, in the comments section saying that. It's like, so on Ganymede, the moon, or other planets, they have the exact same atmosphere and gravity? I don't think so. It depends on the gases, depends on the moisture, depends on a whole lot of things, man. You're going to make things in different ways. And how do we know how they built? I don't assume anything. You just don't know. Yeah, Arts and Crafts, if you get the link to it, yeah. The Antikythera device is pretty interesting because it's basically had more gears than a Swiss watch is what they said. And I found that pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, I've seen it a while back, but still, nonetheless, it's still awesome. Frank, you said made in brass. I guess that is why it survived underwater. It could very well be. But being brass is really soft. It's, you would think it would just get really, beat up and everything else, but it's instead it got encased, right? Noodles, you said NASA missed a 2 meg resolution. Anything with a shadow and a form is 2 meg plus. Yeah, I don't know if I believe all that. They said that about it was a 2 meg camera. Oh, bull. And even if it is, let's say hypothetically it is, which I highly doubt, you're going to have something, again, you're going to have the best technology that man has got right now, and it was made in most of any camera, at least in the, we're not talking about back in the day during the Apollo missions, but as far as Mars-wise, Caltech designed specifically cameras for the high-rise, I believe it was the high-rise, as well as the cameras on the rovers. So they're going to put the creme de la creme of cameras on it. They're going to put some piece of trash like that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was at least a 10 meg camera. 2, I don't buy that. Now, of course, we know meg size is nothing. That's exactly what it is. It's size, right? Because the larger the photo, the better it is to actually zoom into, right? Unless they have a way that they can increase, like we can do. Like I can make photos bigger in Photoshop, crank up the DPI in them and get them, 300 DPI, whatever it may be, where where they have low loss or no loss once they enlarge this thing, because they're finding fantastic things up there, and I just find it hard to believe. When I heard 10 meg, I went, wait a minute, they had far bigger cameras, in 2012. Seriously? I don't think so. You can bet it's much bigger than that. I mean, they go, well, they had to worry about weight. Really? Wait. You can literally put like a little cube camera in your hand and it's more than 2 meg. So, like I said, they had the creme de la creme back in the day. You could bet it has really good high resolution. And they said it was in 1080. They said 1080 videos as well as regular pics. Videos and pics. I haven't seen any videos other than these photos that they stitched together, and like they had like the opportunity. We went through that video where it looked like a lot of stuff thrown on the side of wherever this rover was roving, and you can see where they blurred out a bunch of it and all that other crazy stuff. And all it was is stitched together photos and like a time lapse. They made it look like a time lapse, and it wasn't. It was just photo stitched. Exactly, Frank. Yep. Studied the Vedic writings, rather. There was a race before humans. Absolutely. James, you said, Chris, I'm wondering how NASA didn't think about what people would see when they looked at their photos with a simple magnifier or with Photoshop, so on. I mean, honestly, what do you think about that? Oh, exactly. Again, my thought would be is that I don't think they thought they thought it through, because you've seen how big the computers were back in the day, right? Your iPhone had like the power and the memory is like ungodly. To build a computer back then, it would be like a whole room full here of equipment just to even try to make it maybe 1/10 of that. So really no power involved. And I don't think they thought it through. Well, maybe eventually the computer will evolve and maybe businesses will have it. I don't think they were thinking this through, and they thought everybody's going to have one of these. They're going to be able to pull apart our photos, enlarge them, do all kinds of crazy stuff. Back then, all I could do is show photos to people in books. Think about it, like a lunar book. Oh, yeah, people looking through the photo. Oh, that's kind of neat. That's cute. Never thought nothing of it. Until somebody actually started taking a camera or a magnifier, rather, and really studying these things, going, good Lord, what the hell's in there? So, yeah, I don't think they really, really thought that through. And now, this is the reason why I said that latest Lunar Anomalies and Beyond video I just did, where it looks like they have this almost transparent plate over that, but it has a bunch of these, what look like, digital artifacts in the photo, or compression artifacts. This is the reason why they went back. They probably went back over that photo to block it out, or that video, rather, to block it out. And I believe that was recent. That wasn't something that was done a long time ago. Yeah, of course, the cameras that they used were quite amazing, in fact, yeah. And like I said, even if you go back to, the Apollo mission photos, you know, when you had the Hasselblad cameras. They were amazing, cutting edge back then. And even to this day, that company's like big time, right? Yeah. Michael, he said the copper computer was an ancient mechanical computer designed to navigate the stars for ship travel. Stunningly amazing. It was. It just, I mean, when you think about it back then, you're just going, well, how did these people come up with that kind of stuff? And like I said, they had like the intricate gearing, or the gears in there. It was like a Swiss watch. How the hell? Rob Strachan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Are there actually any real photos of Earth? Absolutely. You can look at them. They've got them out there. I mean, some of them people, they're lies. They're not real photos. My reasoning behind it, and I've said this before. Now, you can watch the ISS, live if you want to. If you notice, it's really, really bright. They do this for a reason. I think there's things out that's orbiting Earth that they just don't want the public to see. Think about that. If they had an orbiter way out and it can picture everything that's flying around, in other words, basically, shut down, bring down the actual brightness or the actual light going into the camera, bring it way down, you'd probably see all kinds of things either flying around, which is basically, flying around, or stuff that we have, space junk, satellites, and everything else. Maybe they just don't want the public to know what we have as far as military, all kinds of things, and not to mention the things that are probably flying around, which we've seen plenty of times in these NASA videos. They go way back, in these older ones, where you can see what look like spacecraft flying around, and when they had that tether incident where these things are going underneath and below the tether, and I think there's a good reason they don't just like go way back and show the whole picture, which they have done, but if you notice, the Earth is always really bright, so you can't see anything that's surrounding it. There's a reason for it. Oh, absolutely, Hubble has, you said Hubble has already mapped Mars, Chris. Alien Tenor, I totally agree with you, and thank you for your support, as usual. It is appreciated. Absolutely. Like I said this before. If you were the designer of the Hubble, what would be the first thing you'd point that thing at? Every single damn planet and moon in our solar system. You would have to do that. It makes sense to do that. And some people said, well, it's made to look out in space, out into the deep, parts of the universe and all that stuff. But yet you can go on Google and Hubble photos of the moon. There are, pictures of our own moon. So don't tell me they can't see what's in our solar system. You could bet you had it set up where you can zoom in real close to Mars, right down to almost how many feet on that planet. And that's probably why, again, gear it up. We've had the flybys back in the 70s. We had the lander in 75, 76. They know what's on Mars. This is the reason why they were sending back. The first rover was in 1997, the Sojourner. For a fact, that's what they're there for. They're there to see what's really going on. Rob, I don't believe that's the case. You said, are there any real pictures of Earth? He asked again and said, have been told that the photos taken of the Earth aren't actual photos as we know it. They are information which is assembled after and colored by. And I don't believe that's the case. Now, I'm not saying there can't be any that haven't been. I don't believe that's the case because there are actual photos. And you can see it again. You can watch the live feed right there from the ISS. Just look at it, ISS real, feed, HD feed, and you can see that now. It's not far back enough to see the whole Earth, but you can see a good quarter, the whole darn moon. I mean, I was gonna say moon because I'm thinking the moon too, of Earth. It's right there in your face. So clearly there is. You can see it at night and both the day. Of course, the night is only you're just gonna see lights from cities and stuff like that. But during the day, you can see that you can actually see it going over the continents and everything else. So clearly it's there. So why would they need to fake it? The only reason why, like I said, is you don't see a lot of these actual, the whole Earth is because God knows what's flying around this planet. Both, it could be military from different countries of the Earth. It could be other things flying around our Earth. They just don't want you to see that. Why would they want to do that? CC, my Harley, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. 2006, Samsung started selling 10 megapixel camera. So I'm sure by the time 15 or 20 was being completed, ready for sale. Well, again, that's talking 2006. But again, I've got an old camera somewhere around here. I probably threw it in a box somewhere. But hell, that was 12 megs, and that probably goes back good 6 or 8 years ago. Okay, so yeah, clearly, and that was back then, and you could get a bigger megapixel camera back then. I think they were up to 15 or 20 then. So yeah, I agree with you. Let me see. Steve's getting dinner. Steve, you're making me hungry because my stomach's rumbling. Erica Joy, good question. No, it's not actually stupid. Believe it or not, it's actually a smart question to ask. Maybe a stupid question, but why, when we see a NASA video, ISS, etc., we never see the stars? Well, again, this is the reason why when you see it like at night, it goes right into darkness, and you can bet it automatically turns down the camera, actually how much light it can let in, right? So right off the bat, you just see just darkness, and all you can see is maybe like a few, lights on the planet, meaning whatever country it's going over, it's dark at that point. And in the daytime, it's so darn bright that it's kind of like the moon photos. If you look real close at the moon, if you're standing on the moon, you cannot see, and it's in the sunlight, you cannot see the stars. It's kind of like we get here on Earth where, like right now, if it was during the day and you went outside, you wouldn't see any stars. Why? Sun, it's so bright. It's kind of anything that's reflective, you won't see anything that's outside of that reflection or the actual light reflecting, right? So this is the reason why during the day, it's really bright. You won't see anything out in space. Now, sometimes you can get lucky when it's just becoming dusk or dawn on a certain pot while it's in orbit flying over certain countries. Sometimes you can just get lucky enough to see something flying around. That's where it's cool. And that's where a lot of people have found what looks like spacecraft and stuff like that flying around. You taking off, Elaine? Thank you for your support. I do appreciate you. You said, have a great weekend, Chris, and live chat family. Yeah, pretty much, Renee. Yep. He said, yeah, it's called Twilight. Absolutely. Divine Catalin, what's going on? Catalin? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Ian Wentworth, he said, talking to Lance Smith, right? He said, same thing probably happens if you try to print out an image of Mars anomaly. It gets flagged by the NSA. Nothing would surprise me, right? All right, let's see. All right, who's down for seeing, maybe picking apart one of these gigapans? Or do you guys just want to chat? We can do it either way. James Cragen, Walmart's on Mars, also, Chris, according to Hubble. Yeah, let's go out there and buy a telescope. We can just see what's going on, right? But thank you, James. Appreciate your support. It is appreciated. You guys all know that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys, that like button. Smash it. Smash it. You guys know why we say that, right? Because it's the interaction with YouTube, and they put the channels, like any channel that gets thumbs up and stuff like that, and there's interaction on the planet, a lot of interaction. What happens is, what did I just say, planet? On the feed itself, that was actually pretty good. But on the feed itself, whether it's a video, live feed, the thumbs up actually help them. It's like you put you in a better category if you're getting more interaction with your videos. That's what they want to see. This is the reason why we say that. Because believe it or not, the thumbs up itself, it's not like I'm getting paid more to do that. It really isn't. It's just simply so they know where to actually. It's almost like they almost put you in a better category or whatever it may be. So the more interaction, the better it is. Brian Norton, thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate that. He said, love every part of what you do for us. Go buy a steak when we actually can do so. Yeah, you got that right, man. I swear to God, it's like, I don't know about you guys, but we can actually get out now. I mean, to a certain degree. Like you can see, I went and got Subway. Eat fresh. But you can go in and it's got to be just like two people. In my area, it's got to be two people and you're going to be 6 feet apart. So I'm glad that they're doing that, right? Because at least it's some kind of normalcy back. But thank you, Brian. I do appreciate you. Erica Joy, you as well. Thank you very much for your support. You are appreciated. He said, thanks for all that you do. Well, thank you guys for the interaction. Because here's the thing, again, we don't all know it all, right? We sure don't. But when we do these videos or any kind of live feeds, we get in on this and we just pull these things apart. Now, these may be nothing but pure speculation, but it's something to think about. And when it comes to the videos, it's a lot of speculation because we don't know exactly what these things are, right? What we're seeing. It may look like this or it may look like that. But there's no way to know for sure. And I've always said that. You know, it's basically there's no way to vet any of it. But what we're seeing on there, doesn't matter if we call it Humpty Dumpty or a caterpillar. Who gives a crap? The point is, when it comes right down to it, it doesn't look natural. And that's the whole key. Is that my voice? The soda's killing me. I don't usually drink a lot of soda. But, yeah. Have me belching every other darn thing. Usually drink like green tea. What do you guys usually drink? Or are you guys more on the healthier stuff and don't want to drink that trash? But again, thank you, Brian and Erica. It is appreciated, like I said. It's smash button time, Mimi says. Yo, hammer time. Hit that like button, guys. We got 127 watching, 109 thumbs up. Jerry McDonald, what's going on? Hey, Chris. Hey, community. Sorry I'm late to the party. Good morning, Chris. Marcus Peters. Hey, Marcus. Good to see you in there as well. Hawking for thumbs up. Well, that's basically I explained that, right? I've seen things like that, though, CC, my Harley D. You said, I want to see a video about vehicles on Mars, cars, trucks, trains, planes, boats. We have seen things that look like vehicles of some sort. And now I don't mean like literally like a car like you drive every day, but some kind of weird vehicle or some kind of boat-like anomaly or some kind of crazy things. Everything's like, even on the lunar videos I've done, what looked like spacecraft. I had one, I think it was probably one of the best I've seen, where it shows, once you brought down the brightness and cut through all the BS, there was a crater. Obviously, you got the walls. Like it looked like there's a spacecraft of some sort right on the actual inside of the crater wall. Really wild-looking piece. And it looked like a bunch of other things just laying on the surface, just dilapidated, just laying on their side or whatever it may be. Clearly, there's some other things in there on the moon and Mars, right? Oops. They just jumped on me here again. I hate it when that happens. Oh, maybe you drink jasmine milk tea. Water coffee. Sweet. Tea. I drink that too, the sweet tea. It's like, it just calls you at times, right? Mr. Gossamer, you said tea, coffee, beer. Beer is good. I guess any one of them could be good, right? Nestle flavored water, 420 Alien says. I don't know about you, but I've tried the flavored water thing. Oh my God. Some of these drinks are absolutely horrendous. I don't know if you guys have tried different ones, because maybe you just say, maybe I'll watch some calories or whatever. And I've tried like different ones just to have flavored water and stuff. Oh, good Lord. Some of the things are just nasty. Bush Corey, there he is. Hi, Chris. Hey, gang. Hope all having a great day. Yes, we are. CM Harley. Well, my Harley. He said citrus green tea is my habit. Yeah, I mean, it's just tasty as hell, isn't it? I agree with you, Austin Krause. You said I can't drink flavored water. Sorry, guys. Again, it just tastes so horrible. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I tried one and I don't remember the name of it now. Maybe it'll come to me, but we sell it in the supermarket that I work at, and my God, some people said, oh yeah, it's really, really good. I tried one can of that thing. I threw it out. I think I took 1 or 2 sips of it and I just tossed it right in the trash. Absolutely horrific. All right, so is everybody down for looking at this gigapan? Let's have a look at it, just for giggles. Let's get rid of that. Now, this was put on there by my good friend. You can see it up here. Let's see if we can find this first. Neville Thompson. It's right here. You can see up in the upper left. It's MSL 2751. Now, like I said, he's got a couple spots here that he's have done. It's almost like in these between these boulders. Not even sure what to make of that. Let me do this. Let me get my face off here. We don't need to see my face. We can actually see this a little bit better. There we go. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Now, I've seen a couple things. Let's go on the way on the left-hand side of this. I thought was pretty interesting. Some of these things, like, here's a perfect example. Now, I'm going to probably zoom in. It's going to go to trash, but it looks like a round piece right here. Something round right on the top, and then you got these 2 white things right on the side, and they look like they're the same size. Almost kind of like an egg shape. See that? Right there in the middle of the screen. Right there. Something else right here on the right-hand side and up. Almost like it looks like a giant nut you'd find. And you see, like, almost like it has these flat sides to it or something. Not sure what to make of that. What is this here? I just noticed this. Well, this almost looks like one of these little spherical things with like a ring going around the middle half of it. What do you guys make of that? It's supposedly stuck in that rock. You guys see that? I'm going to zoom way in a little bit. Let me just zoom in the page itself. See that? And put it right in the middle. What do you guys make of that? Clearly that doesn't look like a rock. It looks like it's embedded in the rock. Or, now I'm trying to back out a little bit here and there because I'm trying to see this thing a little bit clearer. But I'm wondering if this is coming out this part of the rock and coming down behind this one that's going up into this part. You guys see that? you guys think that is? This almost looks like it was flat or something like that. Oh, it's coming up like this and going straight across. See that? Not sure what that is either. Right there. What is that? Almost looks like it's one here, one on this side. See that? Almost looks square at the top here and some kind of small dark detail. Not sure what to make of that. Got this piece way in the background sticking right out. Looks like it's got flat sides to it, but sticking straight out of this mess. Oh, yeah. Alien Deno. You want to keep your eyes open peeled for Bill. Well, actually, William Shatner's wig. I'm sure you'd find it. I agree with the arts and crafts. The objects is too small, rectangular, to be natural also. I totally agree. Some of these things, they just stand out and you're just going, oh, how can that possibly be natural, right? Look at this piece right here. Almost looks like it's got a corner right there, got a flat, another flat side, and there's something built on top of it. It looks like it's white. See that? I'm going to back out a little bit. It's a little clearer. It is a good example of what I mean by rock mimicking software, because when you look at this rock, look at it, has this nice line going right around perfectly straight, going around the front of it. And look at the way that thing is shaped. Is that really a rock? Or it's being dressed up to look like a rock? I would say the latter. It kind of does look like a gyroscope, doesn't it? Mags, you actually know his real name, Tiberius. Good for you. Must have been a Trekkie back in the day. I know I was. Anything space. Space 1999, Battlestar Galactica, the original, Star Trek, anything like that. Oh, yeah. I was always down for watching stuff like that. Well, it's going to be fine here. Let's back out just a little bit. Notice how he almost looks like he got something standing here. You can see what's right here coming down, coming down. And if these are actually natural, look at the way these blocks are. Almost something like you see in our ancient civilizations here on Earth. Although I don't believe this is all natural, although it can be. I'm 50-50 on that. Look at this thing. What is that? Look at the frame on this thing, the way this thing's built. Comes up, goes back down, and look at the one behind it. Up and then back down behind it. Has this like overhang, if you will. Goes around the other side, comes over here to the front, and back over to here. Let me see. What is this? Looks like a little white pipe or something sticking out of that. See it going like this? Oh, yeah. Sure, that's natural. You still watch that stuff, Pete? Nothing wrong with that. I agree with you, Elaine. You know, you said makes no sense. They go to so much trouble to hide so much, but leave all this rubble where we can see it. Well, yeah, that and a lot of these things, like we're seeing here in the middle of the screen, it makes no freaking sense. You can see these things. It's like, that's clearly not a rock to me. There's clearly something there that has pieces that look like they've been, like it's single pieces, like almost like framework or piping or something like that. I don't even know what to make of that. But whatever that is, I'm going to back out just a little bit, clear it up a little bit. Yeah. Steve's a fan, a sci-fi fan. Renee Vaughn, they're also me too. You're a Trekkie. Renee. Bongitis. Oh, bong hits. Bong. Look at this piece right here next to this. I just noticed this. Look at the way this goes up. Actually comes up like this. Looks like it goes inward a little bit right there. Comes across. Nice straight edge. And then, psh, oh, wait a minute. You can see something that's right there. It's still white still sticking out of that. See that? The way that thing's... if this was straight, I'd say it's just a flat rock. I wouldn't think twice about it. It's no big deal. It's just a white rock. But look at this. Comes up, goes over, goes like this, and goes over there. I'm not so sure that that's natural. Look at this thing. I always got a kick out of this because look at the blurring right here underneath this piece. But it just happens to be this weird colored, funky looking rock out of all of these other rocks that are almost the same color. I mean, you can see that, right? Look at that. Look at the way the blurring is just coming around this. Look at this. And yet, I don't know if that looks like a rock to you guys, but I mean, I don't know what it is, but clearly that doesn't look right. Look at this right here. Look at the way this almost looks like some kind of stone that was used in a building or something that was blown apart. See that? Now here's a perfect example how they're trying to cover something up. Look at the way this thing is in the background, right there, and you can see it's right behind this so-called rock. You can see that object right there in the middle of the screen. It's whiter than this actual supposed stone that's in front of it. Look at it. You can actually see the shape of that thing. Yeah. And there's another one right next to it. You can see it right there, and another one up here. So they're using this stuff as a camouflage to hide what's really here. It's plain and simple. It's right there, right in front of our face. I didn't put this into Photoshop. It's straight off of Gigapan. So you tell me. Oh yeah. Guys are saying sand is fake. You're right about that, CC. I'm going to call you Harley D. Absolutely. Yeah, what's going on there, Sam? You said hello from France. Even if it's 1 hour 20 minutes here in Lyon, I couldn't miss a live video. Yeah, we're actually just looking over a Gigapan right now, which we like to do, and kind of look at different things. And now you just happen to come in. We were talking about this piece here, where this is supposed to be some kind of stone, but yet I can see through the stone. How is that possible? You can see that. Yeah, I don't think that's the real deal. What do you guys think? What about this object here? How about this piece sticking right out of the... Almost looks like it's got a little opening or something like that. A little oval opening right here at the end of it. Well, whatever the hell that is. I mean, look at this. Look at this crap. You can see it up close how they just went like this over this. So this piece here, it appears to be longer. It appears to be going up over here. See how they like manipulated right over that? See that? And this piece here, you can see it going, it looks like it ends right here inside this manipulation. Now this piece. Almost looks like a smooth kind of dome type thing to that. You guys think of that? This piece here. Kind of funky looking. Let's get rid of this piece. Get rid of that out of the picture. Almost looks like it's half round or something at the end. Right there, it's going like this. And then flat. Some other pieces here. Look at the way this... How can anybody say there's a stone? You can see it looks like it's flat, and it looks like it's kind of twisted up a little bit, but there's something round right there on top of it. Look at the shape of this, going like this. Goes over, straight up, and comes back over. Kind of like this is part of something else. You can see a round circle right there. There's a line going back here. Guys, see that faint line? I'm going to put it right in the middle of the screen. Yeah. Again, not natural. Look at this weird looking. Look at this. Nah, these are not rocks. Now, I'm not saying none of it's rocks, because this may be something that was blown apart, and we're seeing what's left of it, right? Yeah, it actually did look like a screw Mimi, yeah. Absolutely did. I mean, even when you look at some of these rocks, it just looks like, what? Come on. Look at this. It's a cluster of, you know what? It's a cluster. Folks, this stuff is not just rocks. Almost guarantee it. In fact, I'll bet my life on it. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Bet you take a close look at that. Look at this on the end of it. Right here in the upper right part of it. Almost looks like something rectangular. Well, like these little designs in it. Something's laying there. I'm not sure what to make of that. Almost looks like it's gold, right? How about this piece? Look at this at the end. 1, 2, 3 round, looks like nodules or something like that. And kind of has that weird shape at the end of it. Couple lighter things underneath that. What else we got here? What is this? Look at this thing. Put it right in the middle. Check that out. What do you guys think that is? Right there. Going like this here. Piece on the right hand side, that lighter piece. And this is something going right up the center of this too. Not sure what the hell to make of that. Crazy objects in here, guys. Oh, yeah, look at this. When you start to see what look like tubular-like things and shapes like rectangular pieces with perfectly round circles, could be multiple circles or multiple squares or some kind of framework, to me, that's not natural, period. At the end of this thing. You see right there, there's something white right there where they're trying to hide this. This is something else. This is definitely not, it's definitely not a rock. Look at this right here, this piece, all this junk right here. Whoops. Right here, standing up. What are these? Look at this. 2 white pieces here. Standing up. And I'll back out a little bit so you guys can actually take a better look at this in a little bit. Check this out. I'll put this right in the middle of the screen right here. Look at this piece. It literally goes straight across, comes down at an angle, comes straight down, comes over it. Look at the inside shape of that. Wow, look at that. I've never seen anything like that. Right there. And it echoes, this inside line echoes the shape on the outside. Straight across, slanted down, straight down, goes across in the flat. Look at this. Straight across. You see the line just going down a little bit over here. Angles down on this side. Comes back down, straight across. And there's something in the center of it. You guys can have a look at that better with your magnifiers. You got that right, Mimi. He said, nature is hella creative. You got that shit right. And you get parts like this here. You can see these, something's sticking out of this. I'm not sure what to make of that. And like I said, any of these areas that I show you, I'll back out a little bit after so you guys can take a better look, because sometimes it's just so blurry it looks like crap. But it looks like we got almost like a half a square, meaning side here, going back down here, and there's something inside that. See it? It's like right here. It looks like it's got a square base, but only two walls to it right there. One coming down straight, coming back over here, and then you look at the base of this thing, and then it's got something right in the middle. But look at these pieces coming off this, going into this other piece. What do you think that is? Okay. To me, guys, this looks like a junk pile. It's exactly what it looks like to me. Big time junk pile. Oh, look at this piece right here. Almost like rectangular in shape. Let's have a look on what's under here. If these are legit, I mean, look at these things. They're like a large stone, like, you know, rectangular stone, or at least the side of it is, and look at the block. If that's the real deal. Something tells me these are not. I think, like, when you see a lot of this stuff, I think they're structures on top of there, or they're tops of structures. Now, I could be wrong. These could be mostly stone, and that would be fine with me too. Because it looks like in some of these videos I've done, where it looked like they've actually burrowed into or made their homes into these hillsides and these rocks and these cliffs and stuff like that, right? Like I said, he's done this right here. It looks like almost like a half round piece there. I believe Neville Thompson did these, so credit goes to him for doing these. See, that's coming down like this here. Stuff in between these stones. Gotta love it. Look at this. You can actually see it's not white. You can see the white right here. Goes across, and then all of a sudden you see this brown. Look closely, though. There's white in behind there, where they tried to scribble this out, but you can see a little bit of white. Like this goes straight across. See that? That stuff down here. Flat piece. Goes up like this here. And there's something almost like a, I'm going to call it like a statue. If it's like picture a flat piece. And then there's something actually carved out in front of it. But it's hard to tell what the hell that even is. But whatever that is, that's pretty cool. James Gregan, bang bang on them like buttons, people. Slap it. Hammer time. Any of you guys have forgotten to hit the like button, please do so. Renee, you said that's a turret gun from the Clone Wars. It's hard to tell, right? James, you said drawings on the rocks at the back, Chris. Also, man. Yeah, I've seen it. A lot of times you see what look like these weird rocks, and it looks like carvings or something on them, but it's hard to tell because of, I think, a lot of the manipulation where they do that. Look at this. Here's a perfect example. How does that look like a rock or anything? You can just see the texture is actually added. This is all textured to block out what's really here. What they do is they leave little bits and pieces so that, I mean, you got to see something in the photo, right? You can't just have just this, like this area here, through the whole photo, because clearly you'd say, okay, that's made up. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? So they can't do that. They got to leave you something. What's this over here? Well, maybe not nothing right there. Yeah, there was something right here. Look at this. You can see that's white, right? A little bit of white. And look where it stretches out to. Right here. Goes across. Goes across. Almost looks like it ends up way over here. Yeah, this is being completely blocked out. But they're trying to make it look, oh, okay, look, it's layering like you see up here. And it could very well be. Don't get me wrong. But, some of this stuff is just real borderline. You're just like, okay, that could very well be. A lot of this could actually be rock. Look at this mess up here. What do I suppose that is? Straight top, comes back down to the left, and then whatever this mess is right here in the middle. Now these are some interesting looking stones. What do you guys think of that? Notice how it's completely blurred out right here. Look at this. If you look carefully, you can actually see a nice straight line right here. Looks like it just starts to go across, and then it's in this gray blurred out area, and it comes straight down here. Nice, perfect line almost. See that? Looks like a half round, looks like a pizza, stone pizza. Man, I'm really getting hungry. Look at this behind this, between these stones. Look at this weird piece right here. It looks symmetrical. You can see what looks like a black circle. And the way this thing comes down like this, has a point, and comes down. The other side seems to echo the same thing. See that? This white piece right between these rocks. What do you guys make of that? Let me get something here. Let's see what else we got here. Like I said, guys, this is the first time I'm looking over this myself, so. Now, here's a stone. Looks like it's got some kind of drawings or something on it right here. Or it's just the way the manipulation is done on it. Because you can see something. What do you guys think of that? Yeah, it might be just some kind of manipulation or some kind of crap done to this. Not sure what to make of this piece. Looks like it's got a little shadow sticking out from under it. Or it's just the shape of it, one of the two. Kind of giving that weird shadow falseness to it. Noodles, stone pizza. James Bible, he said, rovers and have no money left for a decent camera ever. Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, I believe they come down in perfect shape, perfect resolution. That's what they do to it. Look at this. Almost jumped over this. Half round end of this. You get this white stuff all over it. I don't know what the hell that is, and maybe some manipulation or whatever it was. But look closely. You can see a line going just like this, coming up. There's an inner line to this, guys. See that? I'm going to do this. You guys can check it out if you want to use your magnifiers or whatever, but it seems to be a line. Now, it's something drawn to try to cover this up and then just putting this texture on there. Could very well be. And you got this weird edge, straight edge right here at the bottom on the right-hand side of it. Look at this. Perfect straight line. See, when you look at stones like these, supposed stones, it looks like something's been blown to pieces. If they are in fact real stones, come on. It's like something's been blown to a million pieces, and it just doesn't look natural, right? He circled something up here. Check out some of these shapes up here. Again, this is not my find. This is Neville's. This piece going straight up, goes across, has almost like a rounded piece coming down. And you go, whatever that is right there. What do you think of that? Got this little white piece right here. Right there. Marcus Maximus, he said, greetings from Spain. What's going on? James, you said, Chris, we don't need to have everything as we think it is. All we need is to have just one. That is proof enough. That will be proof enough to answer any questions about the past civilizations that lived there, man. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, there's just so much to see in a lot of these. You just go, okay. If there's no life on this planet, why are we seeing so many things that look like it's intelligently made, right? There's some other areas here that he circled. Neville had circled up here. Oh, I love this stone. What do you guys make of that? It's almost like there was something up here, like a shape of something else. In other words, it has this shape, but clearly it's something else. And what they do is this, again, rock mimicking software. It doesn't have to be. Here's the thing. They look at it this way. Even if you've seen this shape, you go, oh my God, it looks intelligently made. Well, they don't care because you don't see what the actual object is, so they don't give a damn. Look at these little pieces right here. And you guys have to be aware of these little pieces actually being changed to the same color as the supposed sand around them. Look at this. What do you guys make of that? Something actually has a small piece right here. It gets bigger right here. Looks like it almost goes off in a T because it goes this way. Comes out over here. Like I said, it's thinner here. Gets a little wider bodied here. And goes into this other piece. See that? Let me just back a little bit. You guys look at your magnifiers. I'm just bringing one more step. That white piece right there, again, they're trying to make it, that's how they blend a lot of the stuff as far as detail-wise. That's why I said lines tell all. That's what you want. You want to be able to see what is actually being hidden in here. So what do? You try to bring out the lines, because when they put this color over it, it's taking away the darker colors, shadows that might be there, the lines themselves. That's what we want to pull out. This is the reason why I'm able to pull out of it, pull out a lot of this stuff, because I'm bringing back the lines, bringing back the details, right? Oops. What is that right here? Something white right there in the ground. Just the tip of it, but it's right there. Pretty cool. Look at this stuff down here. When you look at... this is what I got a kick out of. When you see a lot of this stuff, again, this has all been completely manipulated, but look at this round piece. Something straight going across. Got these lines right here, the edge. Oh, yeah. That's a rock. Nice split in half rock. What do you guys think of that? I mean, look at these. Like two lines coming out of this, like symmetrical. Looks like it's going across here, guys. Going straight down. Coming straight down. What do you guys make of that? Oh, yeah, look at this. Something else has been made to look like a rock, but look at it. Straight line. Comes straight down over here. Almost like another block, but it's whatever it is, it's white. See this? Right there. See the edge? Look at this right here. Almost looks like it's encrusted. You can see right here the edge. 90-degree angle going up. And it looks like something's busted off of it or something like that. Whatever this is. Look at this. There's something nice. It's on top of something else, because you can see the straight line coming out behind it, coming down, going across. See this one right here coming down, 90-degree angle. Oh, yeah, definitely not rocks. You got something hanging right out of this thing. Look at this. Almost like a piece of steel or something coming right out of it. Completely manipulated that. What's going on there, Blue Sunset? It's good to see you in there. I see fossilized creatures everywhere. Well, believe it or not, I mean, that's what a lot of people see this stuff. They think, they might see something over here. Like, here's a perfect example of something around there, right there. And it's got something right in the center of that. But there's much more in there if you just put the shadows back. But sometimes people see something like this. It looks like, oh, yeah, it looks like a person kind of like they're falling down. They got their arms sticking out. See, I don't see stuff like that. I just don't. I see stuff that looks intelligently made. Check this stuff out. What's this white piece? What's this white piece sticking out right here? You can see where they blurred it right here at the end and right over here a little bit. But something's sticking right out of there. Got this piece over here in the corner. Almost looks like some kind of steel or something like that. This is the way it's bent, going up and over. Another piece here. I'm just watching what you guys are saying here. Want you guys go back and forth here a little bit. Well, you're right about that, Mimi. You said NASA is like, yeah, they'll never find all the anomalies. Rubbing hands. Well, yeah, and it's like, we may not find it all because clearly it's being manipulated, right? So, yeah. But it's there. You can find a bunch of it. Something white right there. You can see the sunlight coming through over on this side. But check this out right here. Here's a perfect example. Look at this piece. Almost looks like a scrap piece of metal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. These are a little bit harder to find, but they're 1, 2, 3, and then 4th. See that? Looks like a scrap piece of metal. And it goes all the way down here. You can see it. Like it's all bent up and just laying right there. Look what they did here. Look at the way they just scraped it right out of there. Look at this. But look at the shapes of these. Okay? And then they're almost like a shingle, right? The way they got them overlaid. You look at the way these things are right here. There's one underneath this one. It's halfway under this one on the top. You got half of one, and then you got half of this one underneath that one, and it goes up under this one, underneath this one. What the hell? Even this. Come on, guys. Is that natural right there? This one right here in the middle? And you can see what they try to block this out. They literally try to paint right over it. But clearly there's something there. Yeah, that's not normal. Alien Tenno, thank you. I appreciate you again for your support, as well as what you just said. You said, I am so glad we all have this channel. Yeah. Well, again, you guys are what make up the channel, so I'm glad to have you guys here as well. Little piece of white where they probably didn't get the whole bunch of this to get rid of. Manipulate out. Marcus, I agree with you. You said, what bothers me is the scale of these anomalies. How big would the rocks and structures be? William said it all hints at structural. Well, again, we can go back here. Now, these hills are not more than 8 to 16 feet tall, right? At least that's what we've been finding on the average. And it's been pretty wild to see some of the things that are right here. Looking right at us. And like I said, these maybe 8 to 16 feet. That's what we've come up with as far as measurements. I'm trying to remember if there was something over here too. But that seems to be the norm. And if you look, and I'm going to show you one of these, if I can find it again, I have one of Gale Crater and what looks like all of these buttes laying there. But again, and I use the analogy, it looks like a used car lot because they literally are lined up, all in a row, and then there's some and behind them. I'm saying, really? Now, we have buttes here on Earth, there's no doubt, but they're not lined up like a structures like you'd find houses on a street, right? You don't see that, at least not normally, but yet, there you go. We're seeing it here. Look at this almost round piece right here at the top. Going like this, coming around, going like this here, and coming back around. At least that's the way it looks. Almost looks like it's some kind of round piece right there, and you can, it's like the openings right there. It's pretty cool. Almost looks like an opening right here. He circled this, but what I don't get is I would have made the circle a little bit bigger because it looks like you got two identical lines or details in this so-called rock right here. See that? Little pieces on. Just pay attention to the little pieces. That's what we want. Check this out. I can see something right here. Comes down straight. A slight angle and comes straight down. Oh, there's multiple pieces here, guys, that are not natural. There's no way this stuff here is natural. That's like 2 halves of a rock right here. One, going like this, the face of it, and it's sliced right here in the middle. Looks like almost pretty much the same size. Smack dab right in the middle of this so-called rock. And there's pieces right here on the side, or just below them. See that? I've seen this. This looks pretty funky. Looks like a goose head, a stone goose head, his neck and his head. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying it just kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Frank, you said poor Martians didn't know what hit them. It had to be horrifying. Whatever it was just catastrophic. Definitely not good. Enough to waste a planet, that's for sure. I always try to look for the rocks, look underneath them, look for small pieces that may be coming out of them, white pieces that are there, and you can see them like, let's say there was like a white piece going like this, and it came down, went over the other way, and you could barely see it. This is when I try to use the tools to actually bring out the brightness of it and see if you can find out what's really there. Because you'd be amazed at some of the stuff that's in these things. And this perfectly round piece, it looks like. Kind of blurry zoomed in, but I'm going to back out of this a little bit. And something right there on top of it. See that? I see destruction. I see stuff that's been blown to pieces here. That's what I see. Look at this. Bits and pieces of things twisted, turned, flipped upside down, you name it. That's kind of funky. Look at that. What is that supposed to be? Literally see the edge going like this. Looks like almost something that's almost transparent, unless it's something they did to it. But what do you guys make of that? Right there in the middle. That's supposed to be part of a rock, right? Look at some of these things, these rocks, supposed rocks. We've got two pieces right here. Something right on top of them sticking out. If you back out, you can see it just a little bit better. Look at this piece here. A lot of white in there where they've taken a lot of this out. All this in here, that white piece. Got something right here they try to take out. See, it comes up like this, nice and straight through the top. Comes back down the other side. There's one line. Looks like you can see a little piece of another line and maybe a slight piece of that line. See that? 1, 2, 3. Comes up like this, goes straight across. Look at the way this thing's designed. The brown piece here is like it's slightly taller or higher than the white piece here. See that? Another piece sticking right out, straight out of this. Is that steel? Is it stone? What the hell is that? Gotta love this area. Look at this. This is cool. Piece right here. Round. You got this ring type thing. Oh, this circular piece. Mike Rover. Thank you for your support, man. Appreciate you. He said that gray stone looks like developed, intelligently made inner stone, just broken and thrown to the wayside, but yet created material. Oh, absolutely. Somebody, like I said, there's no way some of this stuff could be just simple rocks. Look at this piece right here. Comes like this, gets narrower, comes down. I'm going to back out a little bit so you guys can see this a little clearer. But this piece right here, again, has almost looks like a round, almost maybe an oval. Right there. Let me just go like this. Whoop, a little too far. Right there. What do you guys make of that? And this thing actually has a corner to it. It comes down. Nice 90-degree angle. It goes like this. Check that out. Yeah, noodles could be. You said paddle. Could very well be. James, you said different types of blown to bits material scattered around the place, man. Yeah. I mean, again, every time you see something, it looks like a junkyard. It looks like something's been blown to pieces, to oblivion. And like I said, they're trying to doctrine this all up to make it look like simple rocks. When clearly, if you look closely, there's no way they can hide all of this stuff. And it's, if anybody, a lot of people that really don't scrutinize it, look at these and go, oh, yeah, they're just rocks, man. What are these guys talking about? Oh, that's all they are. Let me tell you something. First of all, how the hell would that rock stay there? A split rock to boot. On this, look at the way this thing slopes. There's no way these stones would stay there. Come on. Look at that. So it looks like there might be something sticking out of this hillside, right? It almost looks like every time I see this right here, this part, it looks like a shell, an outside shell to the structures, as opposed to a normal mountainside. That's the way I see it. But look at the way that thing slopes. That's pretty a good slope to it. Let's put it that way. And that yet it's sitting right there on the side? No way. I think it's much more than that. I agree with you, Blue Sunset. You said these pictures are always so fuzzy. I bet on the original you could see a bug on the back of an ant. Exactly. I guarantee they're a lot more pristine than what we're seeing right now. I just noticed this too. Look at this right here. Nice and straight. Nice 90-degree angle. And there's a piece that's going around it. See that? I'm just going to show you guys this like this real quick. Nice 90-degree angle, and then there's an outside piece at certain thickness. It does the same thing, goes around that same piece, 90-degree angle. It's got some kind of design on it or something. See that? Yeah, maybe that's the one I was just talking about, the a stone cut in half. And yet, this thing is on a slope of a side of a supposed hill. There's no way that thing could stay there unless it was something sticking out of the side of that, and they made it look like a rock. So in other words, it's part of something much larger, and they just made it look like a stone. Let's say it was some kind of steel structure, and it's got like steel girders sticking right out of the side of it, and you would see it clearly. Well, they made it look like a rock. But because it's bent steel, clearly it's not going to fall off the mountain, right? So there you go. Not sure what that is. There's gray piece right there. Coming down is black right here. Yeah. Let's move one notch there. Yeah, there's too many things they try to make look like rocks, and clearly they're not rocks. And again, look at the way these things go over, like right here, all right? It's almost like an outside layering of these hills, like it's like a protective coating or some kind of shield, if you will. I mean, who knows? If they live inside these so-called, maybe they're made to look like buttes or hills, and yet maybe it's to block out radiation. That's why they look like, and you can see it like it overlaps. Like I said, like shingles on a roof, it like overlaps each of these pieces, right? Now, again, just pure speculation, but it's funny how you see that overlapping kind of thing, and you see that quite a bit in some of these buttes. How about this nice little opening right here? What pieces look like they're sticking out of the sides of it. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Looks like it comes right out here. Oh, I get a kick out of this. Look at this. Out of all this mess here, look at it. It just happens to be these pieces straight down. Yeah. Something right here you can see is white. Take a look at that when I back out of this, guys, with your magnifier. Look at the details inside this. Is like a dark circle. Looks like there's something right here, like a dark ring with something in the middle. And this is mostly white, but look what they've done to this. You can see the white all the way down here, all this right here. Now watch when I back out. That thing's got detail to it, guys. Look at that. That is just cool. And the way this thing, the ground actually accommodates this, except for this piece falling down on top of it, but look at the shape of the outside of this. What is the chances of that? It basically, this whole thing accommodates this piece right here. Straight across, well, look at the piece. It has this kind of like pointy end. Look at the outside part of it structured to it. What's going on there, Jimmy Roberts? Good to see you there, brother. Said, hi, y'all. What's happening? I mean, again, guys, when I see this here, no way. That thing is just, again, the shape of this nose to this thing, this pointy nose, and the outside of this accommodates that. Again, with the exception of this piece hanging down on it. Straight piece across. And look at the shape of this object. And you can see the white is all under this, where they tried to take it out. Right there. Again, black circle. What looks like a black ring. And I'll back out a little bit and check that out. What's the chance of that happening? Unless it's some kind of man-made or intelligently made structure. Got this piece right here with a slot in it. Goes straight across, comes back down. Yeah, so I see things here. Look at like this block supposedly right here. Something almost looks round here with a middle piece. Back out a little bit. Look at this right here. Something, it's like whitish right here. Look at the shape of this piece. Let's just back out. On this ledge, supposed ledge. Nah. When you got openings like this here, pieces like this here, this to me, out of all of this so far, screams intelligently made. There's just no way, no how is that natural. AKA man, what's going on? I didn't see you jump in there. So NASA needs to send a few rovers to the dark side equipped with infrared HD cameras. Take pics to then try to hide the things so Chris can pull it out, because that's what he does. Yeah, I mean, we can pull the stuff right out of there. I mean, to me, I don't know why they didn't even bother to really take that out. That to me is like boom. Other pieces and other almost square openings right here with pieces inside. God knows what that is. Check this out right here. White pieces being brushed out. Look at this. Completely brushed out. The white pieces with straight edges, that's what you want to see, guys. There it is right there. Back out. And they're inside what looks like an opening again. Again, is this part of an actual structure or something they built into these buttes and hillsides, and they're using them as structures? And this is the reason why we're seeing these weird things in the sides of them and the openings and the. Is that what's really going on? Look at this right here. That's natural right there. Look at this nice cut piece right in here. Yep, Mike, you said sand's fake, all the gray layover. Yeah, this is like, listen, guys, this is like airbrushed out, painted over, rock mimicking software. This is what they've been doing for years. They started doing this. Again, I said this about the lunar anomalies that we see. You see those hills in the back. Clearly, they're manipulated, and, you know, these may be templates that they're throwing on there to block out what's really sitting there and just drop this template right over it. It's the same thing they're doing to Mount Sharp on Mars. They just take something and plop right over the top of it and hides whatever they don't want you to see. If it's something much larger, right? That's the way I look at it. White piece right here, completely white, going straight across. Look at the way they airbrushed it out. Look at this. Look how fake that is, what they're doing to that. Yeah. Everything looks like a rocket till you really get into this stuff and get into it deep. And you start to see things and you just go, okay, clearly that's not natural. There's no way. Look at this piece right here. What is that, a creeping vine? What is that supposed to be? See, like 2 white pieces that have been pretty much taken out. See, there's one there with something darker in the middle. Piece coming straight down. Is it a cable? Creeping vine? What do you guys think that is? Look at this. It looks like something else all right here has been blown apart. Right here in the center. Look at that. Looks like bits and pieces. Right there. White piece, another white piece, this piece right here. And look at the way this thing comes down, nice and smooth. Almost looks like it has a dip right. It goes like this, like a V shape. And it's got this piece right here. Look, it comes off right here. Comes down, like symmetrical. Comes down from this side on the right, this side on the left. Looks like you just start to see a top piece of like a small round circle, darker circle. See that? This looks like it's been blown to pieces right here. And we're seeing like either framework or something like that. Perfect example right here, the slotted area. You got this white piece in the middle, goes across. The top's echoing the same thing like the bottom does. And it's got this nice slot in it. You know, does it on the other side here, but then it's all kind of messed up over here. What do you guys think of that? I agree with Jimmy on this, and I've said this earlier when we were talking. You said, Jimmy, as far as disclosure event, I do not believe there is one in store anytime. Sorry. And, I agree because it's, again, I believe that they're leaving some of these people are leaving like breadcrumbs. Like you can see these things that are obvious that are sticking out here. And it, like I said, if you just look just normal like this, you go, oh yeah, they're rocks. I mean, that's what they are. To the person who's really not scrutinizing them. But once you get into these, you see what looks like parts, different pieces, things that are a rock, but yet you see like a white piece or something sticking right out of it. And clearly you can just tell it's not a rock. Look at this. How about a nice flat piece of sheet metal? You can see it right there, nice, almost like a nice 90-degree corner. Although it looks like it's kind of bent up to hell and back. This piece right here. Look at the design of that. Coming up and over, down. This piece as well going up. You can clearly see this is intelligently made, man. You don't have to be an Einstein to figure this out. Here's a perfect example. Look at this white corner to this piece here. Yeah, there's one here, corner here, but then the rest of it's all like this tan garbage they're putting over it. Like they're trying to hide whatever these objects are. Now what to make of that? Let's see. Well, Elaine, you might be about the same temperature we're going to be then. We're supposed to be around 30, I think, but we're 42 degrees right now in Fahrenheit, and it's supposed to go down to about 30, so that ought to be fun. Right now, it's saying the dew point's 38. Usually, it could get down to the dew point, depending on cloudiness and stuff like that. But yeah, have to go to work tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. Can't wait for that. James, you said, Chris, man, no way is what I'm seeing when I'm looking at natural formation. No way. I agree. Oh, I'll let Lance, I'll let you answer that. I'll let Jimmy answer that one there, because you said, did the powers that be get to the real Jimmy Roberts 1? Did they get to you, Jimmy? I think it's been an overwhelming no, but I'm sure Jimmy will address that. Yep, just enough obfuscation that most of the world ignores it. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely nobody got to Jimmy because he's still doing his thing and rocking and rolling. So, again, I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think? I think if they want us to find this stuff, right? It's kind of like a Where's Waldo thing. If they're doing this, you can almost bet it's like they're leaving breadcrumbs. This is what I've always said. Maybe you have a different outlook on this. I've always said, listen, it's for the people who really want to see the truth. It's like they're saying, we're going to leave some of this stuff exposed. The people who really want to see it is going to find it. People who are inquisitive enough that want to find this stuff are going to find it. Now, they're not going to leave it all out in the open for you to see it, but you have to search for it. And when you do, then you go, oh, man, clearly, this is not natural, so clearly there must have been something on Mars. And that's what I believe. Because when you look at this stuff, like I said, I see the average person would look at this and go, oh, yeah, look at that hill and those pretty rocks. That's nice, man. Wow. But when you really get into this photo, oh, it's so much deeper than that, man. It's just crazy. Mike, Jimmy's a effing musician with open eyes. Oh, yeah. You can definitely play a couple instruments there. No doubt. I was just looking at this. Okay. Frank, he said, this is the NASA arcade, and we are only get to see 5-cent view through the viewfinder. Well, pretty much. But I believe if you want to find this stuff, you can find it. How many times have you guys, we went over some of these and you just go, oh, I don't think we're going to find anything. All of a sudden you go, what the hell is that? Clearly that doesn't look like it's natural. There's so many little things in there it just screams intelligently made. Yeah, that could be too, Josh D. You said they just covered themselves so they can say, see, yes, but we did disclose. Yeah, well, technically, right, if you really think about it. I believe so, Sam. You said mixing fakes with real, Chris. Yeah, I mean, again, I call it rock mimicking software, right? Hold on. Yeah, and so when you see these rocks, how do you determine which one's fake, which one's not? And I believe a lot of the stuff, which you're seeing here, is not rock at all. It's definitely being dressed up. Look at underneath this rock. Seriously, what is that? What is that crap? This right here. Look at the way this thing has this, what looks like this design in here, or some kind of weird pieces coming down. And again, that must have been Neville that found that because he's got this marked off. So I did not find that until now. He's already found it, but there you go, right? And you can see the way they just put this crap on it, this texture, to make it look like it's something, it's just a rock. It's nothing more than a rock. Look at the blurring going on in these particular areas of these rocks, supposed rocks. This piece coming down, this edge, and it's white. It just happens to be a different color than the rest of this over here. Fake sand up the ass. Again, just look closely at these photos. The truth is there. The truth is out there. I mean, you can see this right here. It's got some decent detail. Right on the right-hand side, absolute crap. Look at the texture compared to over here. Although a lot of this is being hidden with this color they're just putting on here, so they keep all the lines and shadows and everything else out of it. And you look over here, it's complete crap. Why? I said they changed the texture of these photos. It didn't used to be like this. Go back to like Sol 175. The rocks are totally different looking. Although there's manipulation, it's still different looking than this. Much different. That's what I'm saying, folks. This stuff is absolutely mind-boggling when you get deep into these. I like this piece right here. That's pretty interesting with this little, what looks like a doorway type thing. I love this little piece right there. What do you guys think of that? we're going to jump off that when you guys check that out and tell me what you think. I agree with you, Rob. You said you can see through the stone because as the information comes back to Earth and it is being deciphered, there's a chance to obscure the bits, and you don't want to show with your artist why you can see through. I also believe there's an algorithm that the actual rover can do. In other words, if it sees something it's something they can program into it, right? So let's say it's a framework, let's say a table with no top, but you can see the frame of it, right? It automatically, it'll turn it like an encrusted or make it look like it's an absolute square block as opposed to a frame of something. And I believe that's what it does. It automatically does it, sends it back. So now if somebody was smart enough to intercept that signal, right, and they were to download that photo, you wouldn't make nothing of it. You'd say, oh, it's kind of crude, but I don't know what that is, but it looks like a rock or whatever. But yet they have the software to just take that top layer off, and you can truly see what's really there. That's what I believe is going on. Because the rover, it's too coincidental how you can get these things back and they just look like crap. It's just the way it's like you can see something that has intricate detail, but it's like the shape is like all encrusted. Let's call it like an encrusted rock or encrusted part of that table. Let's say the legs were all encrusted to look like a rock. They could do that, but then they'd go, okay, clearly that looks like a frame. So we'll box it in. We'll make it look like a giant slab of stone, like a square or rectangular stone. We'll do it this way. And that's the best way to do it. And that's what they're doing. Oh, you can bet on that, Noodles. You said eventually a techno-capable turbo nerd would take over, and I bet it happened on other planets too. Oh, you can almost bet on that. Yeah, it's something to think about, right? Alien, he said, pause for a moment, friends. Imagine this was someone's home, rather. Yeah, or multiple. And they just dug into this hillside or whatever. I don't think it's a hillside at all. I think this is dressed up to look like something, and it's been beat up. It might have been a regular structure at some point and just collapsed where it is. Or, like I said, at the very least, building into these hills and whatever else, because it's perfect. Think about it: sand, dirt, rock. It's perfect insulator for any kind of radiation from solar radiation. So it's perfect. Makes perfect sense. But that seems to be it, guys. I'll jump on off this. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. It's been longer than 3 hours, which I don't care. It was cool to hang out with you guys. As always, you guys know that. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for your support. I know a lot of you guys have been, not a lot of you guys, but some of you guys have been buying the merchandise, which is awesome. You guys can check it out. I'll even leave a link for that, whether it's hoodies, regular T-shirts, anything like that. So any kind of support is awesome, whether it's just verbal, monetary, any support like that supports the channel. It helps the channel out. You guys are awesome for it, and I love spending Friday evenings with you guys. You guys are the best. I can't say it enough. I got a fine group of people here, ladies and gents. Even got some awesome people coming and visiting every now and then, like the real Jimmy Roberts. Every once in a while, I'll have my buddy Billy Carson would stop in, and other fine folks. They know who they are. They stop in. It's awesome to have all you guys here. You guys are the best. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to eat something before I fall down off this chair. You guys are making me hungry by you guys were talking about getting something to eat earlier, so I'm going to go do the same thing. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for being here. You guys are the best, and I hope everybody has a great weekend, a safe one. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and if you're a dad playing the mom situation as well, happy Mother's Day and happy Father's Day to you. That's the way I look at it. So, peace to everyone, and like I said, happy Mother's Day to all the fine moms out there. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. Anyway, guys, everybody have yourself a good night and a great weekend, and we will catch you in the next video. I'm probably going to try to knock this one out tomorrow, latest Monday. The Mars one coming up, I did show you that. It's right here. See if I can show you this one right here. We're going to have a look at, well, this is one of them, and then we're going to do this one here. This one is cool. We've done this before. You guys have seen this right here, and you can see it's from 2700. It looked like that weird, we call it a sailboat type thing. And we looked at the ground and everything over here, but what we're going to look at this time is all over here. Right in, let's see, should be this area right here. Right over here. We're going to do this area right in this, well, should be right here, I'm sorry. This whole area right here. We're going to have a look at that. So definitely stay tuned for that. Anyway, guys, like I said, you guys are awesome. Just please keep doing what you're doing. And guys, don't be afraid to share the video. That's what gets out. People get more views. The channel gets more hits on it. And again, it's this interaction thing with YouTube. They see more interaction with it, whether it be thumbs up, which if you haven't given me a thumbs up, please do so. Greatly appreciated. And they see the interaction. They put you up higher in categories. They don't just have you, they don't get any interaction, so therefore they're nothing. So hit that thumbs up for me. I do appreciate it. Again, thanks for all your support. It is appreciated. Anyway, guys, everybody have yourself a good night, and we'll catch you in that new video. Peace.